All right, welcome back to another episode of the Boneyard podcast. We have an old guest and a new guest, both pretty good friends of mine. This week we got Vaney Angus and Graf Mir. I am your host, the Bare Bones Gaming, leader of Bone Regiment. Yeah, dude, just wanted to get a podcast in. I was going to do it on Friday. Had some stuff come up, double XP weekend on another game. Wanted to get Prestige 100 finally on that, and I did, thank God. And it was a super short war. We were really excited to do aircraft, and we had all the facility shit lined up for it, and nope. That was awesome. So we'll talk about that a little bit, but yeah, I'll let these guys give a little bit more of an introduction of themselves. Vaney, we can start with you since you're the new guy.
Sounds good. Hi, fellas. I am Vaney Angus. Been a part of Horde for several years. Before that, Orcs as well. I'm one of the officers there. And yeah, if you haven't heard of Horde, we are... The acronym stands for Heavy Ordnance, Resupply, and Defensive Engineering. So you can imagine artillery, tanks, combat engineering. We also do naval. So a little bit of everything. Dabble in Logi as well. But yeah, I love those guys. It's a lot of fun to play with them. And it's my first time here. I'm excited that I got the invite. He calls me at 4 a.m. He's like, hey... You want to go on the podcast? I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, funnily enough, I was starting my bus route at 5 a.m. because it was the first day of school. And I saw Vaney's little green dot on there, and I'm like, well, shit. I don't want to just talk with me and Graf. That'll be a lame podcast, and I'll have to get a new layout. So this is perfect, actually, because he's another streamer. This is Wunderbar.
Oh, yeah.
So that was
new
perfect.
Streamer, yeah.
It was perfect. So, Graf, what about you, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I introduced myself a couple of times. Leader of 11 EFL, part of the 11 E Brigade. Northern Loyalist, probably, but outside of that, currently in collie vacation since 6 days.
Well, hell yeah, dude. Well, this week on the podcast, a lot of the big drama I'm sifting through on Reddit and a lot of the talks and stuff that I kind of wanted to ask you guys and talk about a little bit. I wanted to ask you guys mainly, what do you guys think about the 6-week update cycle? Do you guys think this has been a good change, a bad change? Just, I guess, give me some thoughts on the past 3, I guess, of the 6-week cycle. And, what would you like to see different from it? Likes, bad, all the stuff about it. And it's kind of just open mic, take it wherever we want.
So, I think that with the 6-week cycle, it's a damn sight better than them dropping a giant massive update and then having to balance that out over time, because we all saw how the airborne update ended. They dropped it, it was gigantic, and a lot of stuff just wasn't right, and it took them forever to kind of get to the point where we're at. And so I don't mind it. I don't think it's perfect, but at the very least, it does seem like they're paying a little more attention to the finer details of the game, which I like.
I agree. I also think that, they can't keep up with this, right? They will need some breaks eventually. So we will go back to the old system, most likely, unfortunately. Even though on one hand, I like it. I mean, I would like the wars to be open-end, right? Because I know people that are not playing Foxhole right now, just because they don't want the war to be cut short. Just because because it kind of kills comeback wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the stuff that happened in Airborne, the stuff that happened in all of these wars before, the stuff that happened in War 100. All of these comeback wars are basically impossible with their current mechanic. And I think there would be a draw. And I know a lot of people that don't want to know live Foxhole for the possibility of getting a draw out of it, even though they feel like they could have gotten a win. I think the quality of life changes we are seeing right now, the amount of them is insanely good. I personally just would wish that there would be more balancing in these balance wars. We've seen exactly one singular balance done, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I'm not a developer. But from my perspective, switching numbers in the game should be one of the easiest things to do. Because from my understanding was as well, these wars are meant to potentially experiment a bit with certain values, because the wars will only go for 6 weeks. So we can experiment a bit and we can quote-unquote limit test what might be good. We can test it. And there's not a lot of balancing happening. Like, that's the one thing that is very unfortunate to me. We saw one major balance sweep, and since then we are basically getting content drip-feeded. And there's always so much great feedback in the feedbacks, in the deathbench feedbacks, and it feels like they're either thinking none of this is relevant or they don't have the time to implement it. I don't know. It's very unfortunate. I don't know.
You're not a dev, but you know what you do that the devs don't is you actually play the game. So I think your opinion is as valid as anybody's when it comes
Spitting
to
facts.
you know, like, let's be real. Like, I defend the devs a lot, but they don't. I don't think play the game enough. I think they should definitely play the game more and understand. They kind of just go off, I think, what they read from Reddit or Discord or whatever.
This is what happens, though, right? So, like, no, they're at a lose-lose. Like, I'll sit there, and I'm never getting in this inner circle club, by the way, to, like, get to test shit or whatever. I'll never be in it because I say what I think about them.
I think so as well. I have the feeling that, yeah.
I'll never get there, but I speak facts. You know, I speak how at least in my opinion, I don't sugarcoat shit. And I'm going to keep that honest with you guys, as the viewers. But I think the issue, looking at devil's advocate here, if you see Markfoot playing, any side that he picks, the other one says dev bias. What is Mark? He can't play both sides in a war. You know, and it would be a major thing. Like, Markfoot can't play the game because other side, like, you know, the babies would just fucking ream him, dude. You fucking played on that side, more than Macaulay by it. Like, it would be so bad. So, like, we can't even expect him to play outside of a test environment, right? And it's just not in good standards for them to play the game, and I think that they're not playing the game for that specific reason, all of them, because if it just creates a foundation that there's no bias. Exactly.
The shit show.
Yeah, if they spawn something in for themselves, like, because they don't have time to scroop and they want it, like, do you know that, like, the amount of fucking reaming and crying that would come and spew from that? Like, I gotta defend them where I gotta be honest. They can't, and they can't. And I think it's smart for the devs. I think it's smart that they're doing that.
I agree to an extent, but I also disagree. Like, we're not talking about your average player who has to be locked into a side. These are the devs. If Markfoot wanted to play Collie one day and then Warden the next in the same war, they probably have the tools to do that. He doesn't have to stay one side. You know,
he also doesn't need to go in with his true name. He can just use a whatever.
And I think that a lot of the problems is they don't understand the time sink that a lot of this stuff has. So I don't think they should ever spawn in anything. I think if they want something, they should go through the process 100%. So they can understand.
This was before my time, but there's a reason, which I'm actually thanking God they turned back on this and they're using more active moderation for anti-cheat and stuff. I've asked for that, and I've even bitched to Graph about this before. Active moderation. I think it was the way to go. And one of the issues they had prior to this was I don't know the exact specifications, but I'll just use, like, the Dead Men, like the third faction, as the example. They were on that faction, and they were spawning in stuff for their friends, and it was caught on tape. And it created a massive, like, exactly what I talked about earlier. This is dev bias bull, and it created a massive spark, and that's why they walked away from active moderation and active, like even streamers being in with them. Like, there's a lot of stuff right now going on with like, I texted Max, and I could show you the DM. You know, I asked him to come on the podcast, you know, and I even said, you know, we can even script the questions to be, you know, not so punchy, you know, very dumb, and we can go more streamlined with it, and we can go more just overall in the game. And he was like, well, we just can't do it because it would create, obviously, what I'm talking about. And when a game has a 50-50 split, or what you want of a 50-50 split, it's going to be, it's just tough. Like, I actually really feel for the devs in a lot of this stuff. It's really hard for them, man. I don't know how we could change that, and maybe where they should be doing more playing and stuff, which I've seen a dev do. I killed Max. I killed Max, actually, the dude I texted. I shot his plane down in Dev Branch. He spawned in a plane or whatever, or made one, and we did a air fight. I think they should be more interactive with their players in Dev Branch and, like, actually listening, and maybe getting interviews, quote unquote. But they don't do anything with the player base because of, like, this very hot situation of what I'm talking about. And I'm trying to wrap this into everything that we think as players is not so simple for them, because it's very finicky. It's very, how do I want to phrase that?
I mean, the other issue also that you have is, even if they would more like communicate with players, right? You never know, because unfortunately the brain rot on both sides has gotten so bad that you have players in their bench feedback. They don't give feedback that they will think will benefit the game.
That's
They
true
want
too.
to play the system to get a one-sided advantage.
Yeah.
Right? And then, like, what kind of feedback do you actually consider? And while, for example, a beginner in the game will always have a saying on how the new player experience is, someone that has the game for 20 hours can probably not make a very educated guess on balance. But you never know, like, that's the other issue on the way that we can currently submit feedback, right? They never know the leverage behind, and I'm not even sure if they want to know the leverage. Maybe you want balanced feedback from someone that has 20
Maybe you
hours
should.
in
I
the
mean,
game.
it's probably good to get it all, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
they should
obviously.
take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? From everyone, because
Yes.
everyone's opinion, no matter if it's good, bad, shit, or great, everyone's opinion on the game should be at least considered or heard out, just for the
Yes.
betterment of the game. I don't think ours is a very good indication, because at the same time, you can have someone, and I'm not going to name names,
No.
thousands
No,
of
I
hours
agree.
deep that can get
What
even
easy.
worse you know what I mean, brain rot than the
Yes.
fucking new guy. And
Someone has 20,000 hours in logistics, never touched a tank. That doesn't mean he has a good opinion on tank
you know,
balance, right?
exactly.
I agree. I agree on that note. It was more like a general statement, right?
Yeah, I
That
understand
which-
what you're saying.
Like that you need.
Yeah.
I personally feel like you need a certain amount of veterancy in the game to make educated guesses on balance. Then again, how would you verify that? Is it even possible to verify it?
No,
It's
not a
whatever.
chance. And
At the same
Yeah.
time, though, I think that when it comes to feedback from new players, we've been playing this game a long time, guys. We've done just about everything there is to do. A new player comes in, starts the game, and maybe there's just things that they experience as a new player that we're just so
100%.
far removed from, that their
Yes.
feedback matters. Like, because we should be making the game better for every stage of kind of where you're at as a player in the game, whether you're new, old. Like, let's be real. Like, this game is not forgiving towards new players. Like, it's not.
not. The turnover
And
rate is
so-
insane.
Yeah, so their feedback, I think, is just as important, if not more, because I think, like, we need more player attention. If we can make the game more forgiving for a beginner, probably stick around.
Well,
You know?
that is something where a beginner's opinion is always more valuable than ours. It's just the new player beginning, right? Like,
Yeah.
new player experience, everything. Like, we can never provide sufficient feedback for that. How could we after all of this?
yeah, I mean, we're
I
too
mean,
vetted.
You log on to the home island, you know? Like, the home island doesn't teach you shit. Like, it's
Yeah.
Tutorial is dog shit, but I think everyone agrees on that. The tutorial is not
Yeah.
sufficient. I'm also not sure what the tutorial should teach, because there's just so much to learn about the game.
Well,
Because if a tutorial tells me you have to go through these 2 hours, I will also just skip it to play the game, right?
Well, here's the thing. They could do a basics. So, in my envisionment, there's a very simple way of doing it. And it would take a lot of back work on the devs. But number one thing they should do, and I harped on this a while ago. I don't remember what podcast I suggested this, but I still feel the same way months later, They should get a voice actor from the community or someone that would be very interested in being the colonial, like, Sarge, you know what I mean? Grab your rifle, get to the gun, you know what I mean? Like, and then the wardens would be more of like a sauce on, grab your right, you know, you could do whatever. I don't give a fuck how you do it, but you could do like a very cool, you could even do like Robert Loves Games and I Saw a Bear, you know what I mean? Like, make it in-house if they wanted, whatever, I don't give a shit. But you do that, and all right, soldier, go spawn in at this bunker, and it'll display, this is a spawn point on the map. You click in, there would be like 3 or 4 AI bots at the enemy, would come at you. You're going to be grabbing a rifle. It would implement and show you what, like, an active AI is, a non-active AI. You'd have to kill a pillbox. You'd have to grab a rifle, mammons, and a bandage. You would get shot. You'd bandage. You would throw mammons at a pillbox. On an inactive one, you'd refill, and then you'd kill an active one. Obviously, you do it in a very simplified way, and then you do one with a rifle, and then you just like bandage someone else with you just teach them the basic infantry, and then once they've completed the basics of the game, how to shoot a rifle, how to heal someone, now you are at least a frontline grunt, and you're good enough to get in the front. Then after that, you could select to go learn more tutorials if you wanted to learn that section of the game. And obviously, you're never going to learn crane tricking from the tutorial, but you could go learn how to make B-maps in a logistics tutorial. You could go learn how to do refining. You could go learn how to, they could make multiple and select how to do it. You could select it, and then it loads up, or it pulls up a URL, and it's a YouTube video on a step-by-step basis on how to do it. And if they don't want to go out of house and they want to do it all in, then that's a very easy way to do it. Just by, you select what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like, you go to a portal, and it's like in the home region or whatever, and it says basic infantry training, logistics training, and whatever else they wanted to add, medic training, arty training, spotting training, whatever they wanted to do in there. It would be more a step toward at least the basics first to get added in. Add that in, and then add on more and more and more and more and more as we march farther along. But at least then players would understand, and for God's sake, you know what I mean?
Because right now,
it's nothing.
Right now, all we have is like some shooting, some movement, and that's it, right?
It's it.
I mean, spawning is not explained.
No.
Factories and so on, they exist, but they're not properly explained. It's just there, right?
Yeah, and that it just doesn't help a player understand the game. And then it also puts a strain, like, and I'm not saying it's the teacher-student lessons aren't good for the game, but I shouldn't have to explain the most basic things to someone. Like, I'm not getting paid, and I'm not... I wasn't paid, to teach this dude that. I want to play a game, and there's just small stuff like that. It's good for the community environment. We'd still have to teach him how to do the advanced stuff. We'd still have to teach him how, like, the metas of how games work. As a veteran, we get tired of teaching the same basics 40 times. And that sounds shitty as a vet, but that's true. Everyone feels that, bro. It's not even that. It's every sale. Every single time there's a sale on Foxhole, it's flooded with guys that you just don't know what they're doing. And honestly, like...
And because the turnover rate is so bad, the majority of those guys will stop playing the game before reaching 100 hours.
Exactly. And I just think, will this fix the issue? No. Will this help the issue? 1,000,000%. I think stuff like that would be a very good step in the right direction for player retention, turnover rate, and also keeping your vets. Because there are a lot of vets, and I don't know if he's cool with me saying it, but he made the announcement already. Gremblo quit the fucking game. Like, that's one of our big YouTubers for the game. Let's look at all the content creators. He's done. He's done with the game. Like, his regiment's done. Like, not his regiment's done, but he told his regiment to go to a different clan and that he's just done with the game. And it's not like he blew up. It wasn't like a, big thing. But, I mean, it wasn't. It was just a healthy, like, guys, I'm done. I've had enough. Like, and there's that's a big pillar of the game. You know what I mean? Like, there's not that many content creators for this game that reached the amount that Grimblow does. His videos were fucking hilarious. And for him to be gone is a big chunk gone. Like, Cronus, another one. That's a big chunk gone. Like, and he had a real crash out. And not even, like, in a mean, shit-talky way. Like, this game crushes its retention. And that's just the nature of the game. And I think if there's any way they can alleviate that, they need to pursue that fast. I've been talking a long time. I know we all... I'm curious if you agree with what I'm saying or not.
In regards of tutorial, I think everyone has that played the game for a longer time.
Yeah.
I don't mind teaching new people, but to what extent I have to teach them. I would really appreciate if I don't have to teach new players how stockpiles work.
That too?
I don't mind that I have to explain to them that the bunker base needs 6 pieces to be built. Or how exactly you triangulate for good first shot accuracy on artillery. All of this is knowledge that I don't expect everyone to have. You also don't need to know all the small nitty-gritties of how tanking works, right? That's all good, but it would be really nice if I don't have to explain to someone how to spawn on a map, where to find stuff. Like, yeah, just the absolute bare minimums. It would be super appreciated if someone knows how to interact with a stockpile.
I really like teaching new players things, but it's like every single time I do it, that thought always pops into my head. I'm like, it's crazy that like this isn't something that's just taught when you install the game, you know?
Yeah,
like
imagine, for example, in Helldivers, you would not get explained how stratagems work.
Yeah. Like how to call them in or...
All they teach you is how to dive, how to walk, and how to right-click, left-click. That's it. Go out there, have fun. We don't explain to you how anything works. Okay, cool.
And it is cool that there are a lot of people in the community that are willing to take time and like teach new players.
And that would still, but that would still happen.
Unnecessary, you know? Like so much of it should just be like just the more advanced stuff. Like you should give the players enough tools to kind of play the game and understand it without relying on somebody else, you know?
I agree. I think, and like I even said earlier, I think the advanced stuff would still have to be taught, and I don't think that is a major issue. Like the real finicky stuff, like or the real advanced stuff, is a real big problem for people to teach. But again, I'm beating a dead horse. You know, I don't want to, but teaching the basics, that's the game's job. When you buy a game, it should teach you how to play it. That's not the community's job. But
basics, yeah. I agree.
You know, I mean, Vaney, you kind of gave your 2 cents that you wish that they would play more, and we kind of went on this roller coaster.
They can't, right?
What's that? Yeah, no, and they can't.
They can't. What they truly need is and to my knowledge, there is like all I've picked up over the years is apparently there is some test group. I don't know to what extent they get feedback from them about everything. I have no idea.
My ass, I don't know. Where's this test group? Why
exactly. I have no idea. I don't know who's in there.
What are they
testing? I have no fucking idea.
You know? I
don't know either. I have no idea what they are testing. Sometimes in the trailers you see people getting early access to that, and either it's only content creators, but there's people in there that are not content creators, which gives the hint that they are playtesters. Which is not, I cannot confirm that, it's just my gut's feeling that they are most likely playtesters.
They're fucking testing our patience is what they're testing.
And
we're never getting in, by the way. By the way, you guys coming on this podcast, you've signed off your fucking rights, buddy. It's already sailed, bud. It's gone.
I'm pretty sure that ship has sailed a long time ago.
Yeah, dude. Fuck.
I also don't think that the online persona that I represent is awfully compatible with that.
Yeah.
But not even online persona. It's not like I'm that different from real life. But the other issue that what they really need is they need people that can filter information. Like they need people that at least play the game a bit, that can filter the information that they get from Dev Branch and communicate that to developers. It's not their job to interact with us as well. You need someone in between that has to show social skills.
Oh my God,
to
we're already back.
communicate with the
We're
community.
full circle, Graph. We need a community
I know.
manager, bro. We're hitting it again.
There it is. That's what it all boils down to.
I'm
Like,
sorry.
two of my friends,
We're full
like, two of my
circle.
friends, one of my friends works in the health sector,
Oh,
and he's
fuck.
he is basically working between the guys that do the job and then the programmers that put it into software, right? And he is like the link in between. He is supposed to make it easier for the programmers to know exactly what they need to do, and to talk with medical stuff what they want the software to be capable of. And he is in between, and he tries to make it easier for both sides to understand what they need from each other. And one of my other friends does exactly the same thing for law enforcement right now in Germany, because they now want to unify all of the data and so on. Right now it's still for every state, right? And they want to unify it all over Germany. And he is working at one of those connection points that the software will be compatible, and he has to talk to regular policemen that have no idea how IT works, what they need the software to be capable of, and he is then the link in between. We need something like this probably for Foxhole as well.
We need a filter. Is really what
Yes, exactly.
it literally is.
Yes.
A filter from the shit and the nasty, from the great and the beneficial. Because like
You also want to protect devs from the brain rot that is out there.
100%.
It's completely unproductive. It's completely
100%.
unproductive and it goes nowhere. It's just people spewing out shit and being angry at losing in a video game.
I've always maintained the belief that the Foxhole official Discord was a mistake.
That's not a mistake.
Have you guys seen the stuff that they talk about in there? It's the most asinine kind of shit. I try to avoid it.
Oh.
It's just like Reddit. It's a cess. I mean, both have a cesspool,
Yeah.
you know, and it's
Yeah.
The most
and-
negative, kind of unproductive conversation you will ever find.
yeah, and
it's a lot of rage baiting as well, which is part of nowadays online.
100%, right?
And people take pride in getting the other side like
Riled up.
rage baited and so on, and it's like, and you and now you gained nothing, and the discussion is going nowhere. Nice. It is what it is. I mean, you won't change that, right? Unless you go very, very heavy on moderation, but it's whatever.
Yeah, but then like it's so here's the thing is I have even dabbled in like doing the I don't even like the soft rage bait, like the crack funny, like back when the Flask were crazy, the TF2 heavy. I'm not scared of anything, but that thing scares me. You know what I mean? Like I posted shit like that, but that's like there's a difference between
That's
that
memeing.
and
That's memeing.
you know, there's a big difference in that exactly, and fucking like this is overpowered, the game's dead, you know, like tinfoil. I wish I had mine still. I threw it away. It finally broke apart, but you know, fuck, dude, like that. And honestly, that's kind of a big reason I've made this podcast, right? And I know I don't invite every single Tom, Dick, and Harry from the game in here, but like I really try to get voices of people that have reason and are gonna be good to talk with in here, because here's the thing, like Graph, you're a Warden loyalist, we're both Collie loyalists, like you want the same thing I do in a different way, right? You want the Wardens to be strong, I want the Collies to be strong, you want the Wardens to be, you want someone to fight against that's strong and have a good game. You know what I mean? It's not fun when one side quits. Exactly. That's the thing is like a lot of the players that like care about the game want both sides to have fun. And that's like the big thing is at some point you got to understand like it's tough to balance asymmetry, but it's tough to not get negative review bombed with true equality. Like that's the other thing too, is like when you know one side gets too strong, it's review bomb until it's, you know, nerfed into the dirt, and it's
also
finicky,
like,
man.
It also creates this death spiral that whenever someone thinks something is busted, they will just like review bomb it, because that's the other unfortunate truth to all of this is that it feels like right now, if you want devs to listen to you, you have to review bomb. Otherwise, you don't have the feeling that you are getting hurt, right? To a
They
certain
don't
degree, some people
feel it in their
some
wallet,
people
then
might,
they're not going to care.
Exactly.
and some people might have the feeling that that's the only solution. I'm not saying it is, but I understand if colonials, out of a colonial perspective, I feel like you would come up with the conclusion that the only way of getting hurt is review bombing the game. And I would agree. Like, they needed to review bomb to get anything done. And in my opinion, maybe that's a modern perspective, but in my opinion, the first patch notes they dropped when all of this began, to me, that was actually insulting to collies, because it showed that they had no idea what collies actually complained over the past years and months. What is the issue? And they just tried to do whatever and see what shit stick. No one, at least no one that I know, asked for a free shot 40-meter BART. That's not what no one thought about this. It also did not make live, but it showed me I have no idea what they were doing over the last years and what feedback they were reading, but I've never read that.
No, that's the craziest part too. Is like, it was a 40-meter
it
BARD,
was
2-shot. Like no one
Like,
asked for the BARD to be changed at all. Like that wasn't even one of the biggest complaints at the time. It was insane that the BARD got touched at all. Like I was happy the machine gun got a little better because, and in all honesty, machine gun on tanks right now all kind of suck ass.
Especially there's so many dedicated anti-infantry tanks
that just
got
suck.
Fucked by the bloom change.
Yeah.
IST, dog shit. Kingspire, also dog shit.
Oh, all of them. You can't name one. The only thing that's not fucked right now is the FMG.
Half tracks.
Half tracks and the FMG. And you can't even say that's but you can't even say that the half track's a fucking dedicated like, obviously most people throw machine guns on it, but it's a lamentum. You know what I mean? Like the highwaymen too. Like they're all, even the chieftain, like
Chieftain is dog shit.
it's all ass,
It's
bro.
still a good siege tank.
Oh, 100%. But machine guns is what we're talking about, right? Like the machine gun on all tanks just got fucking, and it's like it's weird, and maybe that's kind of the, I don't know. It's almost kind of a defiance thing. I kind of want to look at it as a positive, but it's hard because they're not going to give us exactly pen on paper of what we want. They kind of just throw they always throw a fucking curve, like it's the monkey paw curls kind of thing. It's really weird when we ask for shit, like we get a fucking left hook out of nowhere. Like, where the fuck did this come from? You know, it's in...
Like for every one thing that they make better, they kind of take some...
Yeah, they throw... Yeah.
We love.
It's
like
weird.
I wish they never touched the spat. I don't like
well,
5-meter spat
the spot... this is the weirdest thing to me right now, and now we're getting into the... Well, now we're getting into the weird spot right now, and this is where, like, we got to be cool heads, because now we're, like, and I want to talk about this, too, because this is a hot, like, commodity going on right now. You know, the tanks right now throughout are, like, weirdly balanced. They've made the Outlaw, like, not have its true identity, to be that 45-meter cruiser tank. The HTD is now, like, lower armor. Like, the Talos is obviously a very strong point right now, too. The STD, and it's all very finicky, and it's a lot of major feelings involved. Like, stats to paper, there's a lot of weird things. And another thing, like, talking about the monkey paw curling, and I know I'm spitting a lot of shit at you guys right now, but we'll dive through it. But, like, another thing that is weird, the Silverhand, the buffs that it got were very weird.
Was enough.
Yeah. It's opinionative, you know, like, on stats, it's a nerf and a buff because its speed's lower or whatever. It's all weird. Yeah, it's very weird. And
you got armor HP, but yeah, as a reward, and it's like, who asked?
Given a lot of thought to this tanking issue, and it's not just a tank-specific issue. It's the game is designed, they say, to be kind of an asymmetrical thing. Now, when you think of with tanks. What does that mean? What did the collies have that the wardens don't? They have mass-produced tanks that give you 5 per crate. What use of that? What use is it if you can't get in hex, right? Like the queue system will never allow collies to kind of actually be the Zerg,
No, it doesn't.
quote-unquote faction.
100%.
And so it's
I also feel
it's
like
a
they
bit
gave up on
ridiculous.
that
The
idea.
asymmetry of the game, I
Yeah.
think, is a really cool part of it, but that's also the source of all of this shit. Like everything that we complain about almost on a day-to-day basis, aside from queues, is about asymmetry. Us having gear that the wardens like, or wardens having gear that that we would really like, something similar to that. And I don't think they just really kind of understand how to do asymmetry like well. I think it's something that they really struggle with. They don't really understand,
What?
I
It's
think.
Go ahead.
I mean, personally speaking, my understanding is that initially that was their idea. Was this one is the spam faction, the other one is the quality faction. But I think they gave up on that idea because I think we can all agree it doesn't work. That's not how the game works because
It's impossible
In the end
because
of
of the
day-
queues. It's impossible.
in the end of the day, both servers will be both sides will be at max pop, and then the only thing that matters is quality of gear. And I think they gave up on that idea, and that's also why Colonial Tanks are seeing the adjustments that they see. Now, this is the Warden Loyalist take. If we adjust stats, we might have to take away the good stuff as well, right? Like, if we want to keep the 5 vehicles per crate to keep it asymmetry, yeah, then at least you need to reduce, then you at least need to get the cost factor out, and then the only asymmetry would be you get 5 per crate, but you have to pay the same price per tank. Because it creates this weird dynamic where all of a sudden, even considering the steel cost for a Talos, it's still cheaper than a Warden Light tank. And it's because the basis is just so cheap.
I mean,
And then
here,
as a Warden, it's like, right? And then it's like,
you ready for the
on
hot
one
take?
hand, in one hand, like, sorry, just one.
Go ahead.
I get the argument as well, like, cost doesn't matter. I agree to a certain degree. Eventually it starts mattering, right? And then but yeah.
I have to disagree because you know what cost really is in this game? The player's time. That's where all this
Yes.
shit. So you might say like, oh, it's just steel, whatever, but setting up the infrastructure for all that takes so much time for people.
Yes, it does.
That's where the game doesn't respect
M
people's
subs
time very
as
much.
well,
and M
right,
subs,
and all of
exactly.
this.
That's
Yeah,
where the
yeah.
real cost is when it comes to all this extra stuff that you need to make the upgradable tanks, right? That's where it is. Like, so you say like the Talos might not be that more expensive. It's still pretty cheap relatively, but yeah, if you're looking at just the price of the material, sure, but there's so much infrastructure that goes into that. So I think it is still, 10 steel is
So
noteworthy,
I'm gonna drop the bomb
Here we go.
on this. So there's two things I think that are really causing the major issues, or I guess 3 things that have caused major issues in the game, and it's all due to power creep. And
Yes. 100%.
so
Yeah.
that's the main cause of it. But like the
Yes.
base 3 pillars, I think, that have caused a lot of the power creeping. One is something a lot of wardens don't like is how cheap the falchion is. Like the 5 crates is insane when you think about it. Like on a stat, it's like you get 5 crates. That's 25 tanks, dude. That's insane value. Even if they're dog shit tanks, like, and even if they're just chunky, like the gun on them, it's not a great tank, but it's a
40
tank.
millimeter.
You know what I mean? It's the
yeah.
worst gun 40 mil, but it's a fucking tank. At the end of the day, that's sometimes all you need. But at the other end of the aspect is what the devs have put themselves into, and things that here's the colleague perspective on it is, and exactly what Vaney said is, the Talos is insanely strong. It's insanely good. It's a lot of people, and I'm almost on that fucking train. It's better than a BT because you can make fucking how many in the time you can make a BT. Now, on the same flip side to that, what we have to fight, how many HTDs can you make? You know what I mean? Even though the HTD in a 1v1, you can make 3 pretty much, not maybe price, but like time, effort, all the bullshit into it. An MPF of HTDs versus an MPF of Talos, like the Talos stat-wise would beat that ass, but you're never going to get enough to crew all 25 Talos, and you're never going to get 25 Talos fielded. You're never going to get all 15 HTDs fielded. But when you span everything out, the pillars of the issue is the HTD is very hard for the collies to get a counterbalance to. The outlaw was very hard to get a counterbalance to. The Talos, or the MPF, the MPT, the cheap versus effective, is very hard to like weigh out what's good and bad. And I think you're right. They've kind of gone away from where the spam faction, and they're giving us more quality equipment. I think we do need to bite the bullet and lose the 5 MPF crates and tape it down to 3 to keep the power creep that it is. You can't spam as much, but then at the other half, like, you got to see the point of view of the Colonial. Fighting an MPF of HTDs is just as annoying as fighting an MPF of, and obviously there's a bit of a difference between 75 and 68, but it's a 75 Hivo 68. It's a very potent thing to fight against. And those are the pillars.
Collie armor, man.
I mean, the HTD is one of the major reasons that we are where we are right now.
100%.
It has 75% high velocity, and for the largest parts of its existence, the majority of collie tanks always had to get in its range to even be able to damage it, with the only exception being the LTD. And that's where we also get the insane HP inflation from. On the
LTD, right? By the way, completely useless now because they won't make it so drivers don't die to a scout plane.
It is.
That's the thing.
Completely
What
useless.
what was the
on the other hand,
STD.
Like no.
No.
Was the collie tank? It was the LTD, but now you can't do that, which is why instead of fixing the whole scout plane being able to decrew the LTD, they just added the fucking 45-meter range to the SPAF and called it a day.
So we're all, like, I think you guys can agree those 3 pillars that I was talking about, this massive inflation of HP because the HTD has so much damage raw out of the MPF, but then you also have to try to fight this 45-meter tank now that they've thrown a 20% Hivo on. Like, all of these things, like, they needed to give the Outlaw 20% Hivo because of how high our HP is on our tanks. And, again, Legendary, I'm actually going to give credit to him. When you start just adjusting sliders on damage HPs and numbers tweaking, that's actually where we get to where the number's just going to keep getting higher to where it's not fun. I actually agree with what Vaney,
everything else,
hold on.
Right?
Hold on.
Sorry.
So the point that I'm trying to get at is I actually really agree with what Vaney said is, and something I've harped on, and Graf, you're going to hear me say this again, and Vaney, I don't know if I've told this to you. I think the problem is still there's a identity crisis now for both factions. Now we're getting, It used to be a Colonial faction issue. Now we're getting an identity crisis for both factions. The air, we don't even know how the Harpy's going to end up in the air now. That's a whole new thing that we have to experience. We don't even know what the fuck's going to happen with that. I think it's really strong. I'm happy the tweaks they kind of did. I don't think it's enough. We're going to have to see. But I think now both sides are fighting an identity crisis. Also, side tangent, why did the Blake Road need a buff? Now that I'm coming to, I don't know what just popped into my head, but what the fuck, dude? That gun is so fucking good, bro. Every time I pick that fucking thing up, I feel like I'm a Terminator, dude. That thing is so good. Side tangent over. I think both sides are dealing with identity, bro. Like, I think the Wardens are now starting to lose their identity of being the quality tankers and this, bastion defenders, and the Colonials are just throw the fucking Talos up there, get it done, it's just a mog of fucking blob of armor. It doesn't even matter. And to be honest, like, another thing to talk about is I wanted to call it LTD Nemesis. The Nemesis is in there. It's a fucking amazing tank. It lost its fucking light to shine. It's borderline my still favorite MPF tank in the game. It's super strong.
I never understood on the Nemesis how they gave it all the advantages and still allow it to cross trenches. It seems so weird to me.
Dude, okay, with a grain of fucking salt, it can cross trenches, by the way. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever fucking drove one, Graf, but if you're not going full speed and you don't cut the corner right, you're going to end up in the trench. That thing fucking sucks. It can cross it. Barely. Yeah. Barely.
You know what you're doing.
If you don't fuck it up. and you have the speed. I'm telling you, try it out this war. If we get to tanks, drive an enemy across the trench. Tell me how much you enjoy driving that motherfucker.
I have played it a couple times. Obviously, it's not the same if you only use it as captured equipment, right? But I've played it. I'm not saying it's nice.
No, I get it, and it is the fact it can cross trench as a wheeled thing is kind of weird, but try it, please. Let me record it. Just be like, in an active combat situation, try to cross that fucking trench when you need it. Yeah.
I do hope that we get to like tanks and the rest of the planes this war. Because last war I was excited, and obviously I'm happy with any kind of W. But like this
it felt so lame.
I want a bit more of a fight. I want to have to like feel like we earned it, and it just was kind of like whatever front we decided to go fight on. Everybody was already kicking ass there, and it was just over by the time. It was kind of lame. So I hope this war lasts a bit longer. I would hope it lasts way longer. Fucking 5 days and 12 hours? Are you kidding me? What is that? Like that's hard.
I mean, that's one.
We didn't even get
faction,
like proto tanks, man. We didn't do anything.
I would say that is one faction not being willing to play, right?
And that's a dilemma we've been dealing with for a minute now, and I'm curious. I'm curious what you guys think here. Do you guys think it has to deal with one side getting the new plane and the other side not?
No, I don't think so.
No, that's a lame excuse because, like, really, the Harpy, I'm sure it'll be fine, but now we're even on like numbers of planes. So, like, we just kind of caught up. The Wardens had an extra plane forever.
That's crazy to say, though.
It is true, though. I mean, it's true, and it just kind of fits with the way the devs run shit. Like, they gave you guys the big old torpedo bomber. You guys are strong on the waves, and they gave us something that'll be better against land stuff. It seems like they always kind of do this. Whenever they add something, it's always like it's got to be. The Wardens get something that's strong in one sector, and we'll get something that's strong in a different.
But you do agree that the only reason that we have more fighters is the questionable decision to give us a very questionable carrier.
So here's my thing too. The carriers were a really cool idea. I don't think either side uses, like, to be honest, at least I don't know what the Wardens do. I don't know if you guys make carriers or not. I know from the colonial standpoint, the only reason we're even making a carrier is to land, refuel, and get back out. And to be honest, I mean, I've heard it's very hard. And to be honest, I actually really need to do this on Dev Branch. I need to land one of the sea fighters on the water to test it. I've heard it's really hard to land, and that's something they can fix. That's so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
It just like
gravity is very high.
Like, that's what I'm trying to like. That type of thing is not a fucking like gameplay or not something they balance around. That's just devs not doing their job really great. They should just add it to where you guys can land the fucking things on water. But in hindsight, well, hold on. Let me finish the point first. So theoretically, the only advantage I see is the Sea Fighter can land if it's in the hex. It could pretty much do exactly what the scout planes do on roads and make improvised airways. And you could just, quote unquote, theoretically, you should just be able to land it in the water. Like if you're looking at the stream, theoretically, if you're fighting in Lynn and there's a big air battle going on, you should be able to have on this beach a little dock. You you land your plane, refuel it, take back off. Theoretically, you don't need a carrier in this hex. We would need a carrier. That's kind of where I'm like, that should be it, and why I say you do have that, and that's what I guess I'm trying to say is it is a second fighter, and although not implemented correctly, that is the thought process behind it. It should be getting fixed. That is just a bug, not something that should be a strength for you as a warden. You know what I mean? That's not. It should be a strength, even though it's not, and that's just due to bad programming or whatever. That can be fixed, I'm assuming, with numbers and dev work. That should be a strength for the Sea Fighter. You know what I mean? Those should be. You should be doing that. Like that's something that should be going on. As to where the Colonials always need to land on a carrier with the small fighters, and with the big fighter now, again, we don't know anything about it yet, other than the dev branch. That's also very fucking weird when you're talking about real war versus Dev Branch. Can it kill planes in Dev Branch? Yes. Is that what happens in real wars? No. Like, Dev Branch fights and real war fights and fighters, I'm telling you, are always fucking different. No one cares if they make it home in Dev Branch. Everyone cares if they make it home. Everyone's going to get their fucking plane if it crashes. A lot of shit changes.
I mean, for me, I think one of the frustrations around the Harpy is that Wardens, to this day, unless something is getting announced, there's no reason for us to fly aircrafts. Unless you know there's a bomber or paraplane coming, because we cannot project air power right now. We don't have a close air support plane. We have a 14.5, but the main reason for that to be used, you would use it against trucks and trains. That's it, right? Like, you don't really go for tanks. Like,
so I will say the caveat to that, though, and to be honest, like, this is the real... Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry, dinner just got done. She was at the door. Couldn't go. I had to go to the door. So anyway, like, talking about CAS and stuff, Colonials, you know, I don't know. I really recommend you, if we get to that point in this war, go fly a dive bomber and spend those rares, and then get... What's that? Yeah. So what I'm saying is, and I'll be honest, and I would say 90% of Colonials feel this way, unless there's a very strong item on the field, ergo SPG, super heavy, anything like that, Railstorm Cannon, shit like that. You're not really sending dive bombers at it unless it's a big target. Going and casting on normal tank lines now, you're asking to lose a dive bomber for Armat tanks for rares. That's how, at least, like, my regiment, I know Atlas feels the same way. A majority of regiments feel the exact same way. We feel the exact same, to be quite honest with you, Graf. Unless there's a very big target, we're not sending bombers anymore. And unless it's a peon that just is trying to help, they're not either. Everyone kind of feels that same thing, that power creep that happened, because dive bombers aren't as effective as they used to be. I went in, it takes both bombs to kill a half-track. You will disable everything else. Or an outlaw, HTD. You'll disable, I don't even think you'll kill an HTD anymore. So to send a plane out to get tracks and shit is really insane, because Ignifists can do the exact same fucking play for an MPF cost. No one's doing that. So to give you the perspective...
I'm looking at this with a certain amount of biases, because I'm looking at this from the perspective of the regiment, right? So we have like 60 people in Hex with a properly established tank line that is like in the same VC or one VC away, and you track the tank line for them, right?
Yeah, but here's my question to you, though. Unless it's let's even hypothetically say it's a juicy tank line, and not even BTs. If you lose that dive bomber to flak, which is very everywhere, are you going to be happy that you lost a dive bomber to kill MPF tanks?
Depends. I mean, what else would you use the res for? Like, with the size of the regiment for us, we either go for null all in Navy or we don't. RSCs are unfortunately somewhat unusable for us. Like, super high risk. Outside of the problem of storing them, which is obviously super high risk with partisans, right? But I'm talking even about deployment. So...
Well, on the Kali side, get used to it. We dupe rares over here, so you don't have to worry about rares.
Okay. But like, what would you use the rares for, right? Super heavies costs next to nothing, right? Like, you have some large structures, but what would you use it for anyway?
I mean, I'm going to be honest, like, a lot of us, as Kalis, donate rares to nukes.
Yeah, just donate them to nukes, which makes sense, right? I mean, why not? I mean, they work.
But I'm just saying...
kind of confusing rares. I mean, because, yeah, rares are hard to get at times, but that's not the most expensive part of making dive bombers. Like, you know, that's something you just pick up off the ground. All the other stuff, all the facility, the parts, you know, all that's the expensive part.
Yeah, but that one is existing anyway, at least for
even
us.
Saying that, though, Horde is one of the regiments that does actually play it pretty fast and loose with the dive bombers. Like, our guys will just go after, regular tanks. As long as we can kind of assure on the ground, and we do a lot of scouting and call out wherever the AA tanks are and all that stuff, they'll go in. So we get that we've lost a lot of dive bombers, but at the same time, we've got a lot of really good kills with them too. So our guys are really good at it. They're a little bit pricier than the fighter, but I still think it's worth it to take a dive bomber out and just fuck around with the tank line. As long as you can kind of be safe from the AA, like you got to do your scouting first on the ground to make sure.
To caveat on top of this, what I was trying to get my point to is there's not a massive amount, like, especially me, I was going fucking ballistic in a dive bomber when it first came out. I literally was the fucking ghost of King's Cage, dude. Like, I literally got posted on Reddit like 6 times because of how bad I was pissing people off, how strong it was. I do not see dive bombers used at a consistent rate on a front line. Now, that being said, if we do...
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If we go into this point, I do think I want every side to have the same opportunities in different ways. And I also agree with what Vaney said earlier. Wardens and Colonials usually get 2 different, equipment to attack different angles. I do not want a torpedo bomber. I want a depth charge dropper. I also would like a Warden, quote-unquote, fighter to be equipped with AP RPGs, like low velocity or whatever.
No.
Just whatever, just different.
On a side note, I just want to say, what makes me so angry about the way that they implemented dive bomber as well is, it faces a faction that has less HP and more armor on tanks, and it has a bomb that completely ignores armor. And the thing is, it is the same, and this is one of the truths that no one really wants to tackle. I straight up assume that whatever Wardens get as a close air support, it's not allowed to interact with armor either, and to compensate with the currently higher HP, it needs to be high velocity as well. And the problem with that is, it will probably get into thresholds where you one-shot stuff again that you should not one-shot. Right? You should not be able to one-shot CVs. That's super toxic. Right? So, yeah, I don't know. But I also don't think that devs are aware of these thresholds.
Well, and
I don't think that...
It's a compounding problem from what we talked about earlier, Graf. It's the pillars of... and this
one
is
of
where...
the original problems.
It's just a compounding problem, right?
Yeah, like for example, the Outlaw right now has the issue that it has to trade blows with the Spather because it does not range it anymore. But now all the other stats don't make sense anymore, right? Like HP wise and so on. Because then, if your default assumption is that both tanks can always hit each other, there's no reason for one tank to have the utility slots and all of this other shit. Yes, we have a boost, but you can only boost backwards. And you cannot reverse ski anymore, you cannot play with the ass to the enemy anymore. What like some very good Outlaw drivers would do when you have the gunner stream. You can't do that anymore because the Spather has the same range as you. So he will just penetrate like your engine deck. So
I want to go on record. I think I've said it before. I don't like the Spather 45. I think it was stupid. I wish that they would have just done something. I wish they would have just fixed the issue with the LTD.
I think the main problem, it's at least my feeling. Oh, it wasn't because there's such. But yeah, for example, it goes into so many things. Like, why did it take them so many years to increase the range on the polybolars?
Oh my god,
it's so
dude.
retarded.
Oh.
Speaking of that, that thing is absolutely so glorious now, man.
It's so stupid. It's super strong now, and to a degree that it now is maybe like one tank should not be able to outrange it.
I agree. I really think...
Does it need 50 meters for that, right? You have to ask yourself the question, do you even want a 45 meter, 40 millimeter, 45 meter, 40 millimeter gun to begin with? I also don't want this constant stat increase because we have insane power creep, right? Like, what's the answer? Now we need to get the STD without low velocity. Yeah, but that's also not healthy for the game. Give us this and this, give us this and this. Like, but like,
again,
I don't know.
Legendary said it.
I think they lost the track.
It's a number until everything is so OP that it's just dumb, and no one wants to play.
And I think that's what we see right now. I think the Harpy was just maybe initializer to some of the issues some Wardens have. I think the main problem everyone on the Warden side has that I talk to is it basically does the niche that the Harbinger does better. Like it can completely wreck Logi. That means trucks, heavy trucks, and trains. That's at least all the wardens that I know mainly use the Harbinger for. At least the 14.5. You mainly use it to disrupt logistics. It does that way better. But it will most likely... It doesn't pay with it for anything. It has the highest range of all the fighters. And you have a ball turret. Which, with the typical way that dogfights turn out to be, is probably an advantage rather than a disadvantage. Yes, it does require 2 people, but the 14.5 also does, like on the Harbinger, I might be wrong here, and I'm sorry if I am, but to my knowledge, since they reduce the high velocity on the 20 mil on the regular guns, to my knowledge, 14.5 is already borderline as effective as 20 millimeter. Now the Collie one has double the fire rate. So you potentially have double the DPS in one plane.
So
I don't know.
I did a lot of
It's
extensive
also much
testing.
more expensive though too. You're not going to see
So
as many of those as you're going to see.
that's
Cheaper.
So
the Harbinger is as expensive as the Harpy is as expensive as the Sea Fighter.
So here's the
So
caveat,
Sea
though,
Fighter,
right?
We're talking about the Harbinger though. That's the comparison, not the Sea Fighter.
Well, it doesn't even matter. So here's what it boils down to. Graph, unfortunately, here's the deal. It's 2 pilots to 1, and it's 1.5 planes cost in parts at bare minimum. And when you're talking about plane parts in general, if you crack a wing or you crack tails, I don't know how much airtime you have. A Sea Fighter head-on with a Harpy, we did this test like almost 10 times. The Harpy tied once and won 3 times. As soon as the fight came to 2v1, we lost and didn't kill one plane every single time. You're talking the difference in 3 plane parts in winning and losing every single time. It's the same amount of people. You're talking about 3 more plane parts and you win 100% of the time. And we did this for like over 40 tests. 1v1s and 2v1s, and we lost every single fucking time. Did we damage parts?
Before they nerfed the turret on
and
top.
that was before they nerfed the turrets. Every single time in a 2v1, when it was 2 pilots on 2 pilots, we lost that fight every time. So when it comes down to it, it's 3 plane parts difference. Same amount of manpower, but it's 3 plane parts difference between a Harpy winning and losing. Like, genuinely, that's 100% facts. So, and I'm just meaning that from, like, my personal testing, and I can show you the footage from when we did Dev Branch. That was yeah. So that was what we figured out, is it's a 1.5 plane. That's what we call it.
So assuming you have the same amount of players, yeah, okay.
It's same amount of players, 3 extra parts, you'll win damn near every time. Now, it does come up when you have 2v2. That's when things start getting a little, you know what I mean? When you start ramping up numbers, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. You know, I don't know in the big ball fights what's going to happen. But I don't think you're going to have, I don't think you're going to have 10 fucking Harpies in the air flying at the same time. Maybe it happens.
You will have it whenever it matters, right? Like,
yeah, but the thing is, I don't know what we'll lose.
You will have Harpies.
But I don't know what you're going to bring up either, right? So, like, that's
bombers, if they strike mid or backline, server capacity is not an issue for the attacker.
Mm-hmm.
It's only if you drop the front line itself, and you wouldn't use a Harpy to escort a dive bomber. Maybe you do, but that's not the point I'm making, right? But yeah. But as I said, I think the Harpy itself, I think the main discouragement is that Wardens, at least I, never perceived us having more fighters than you. We got a weird-ass dogshit fighter because we did get a dogshit carrier that now forever will completely fuck up Wardens, because whatever new plane we might ever get either is not capable of landing on our carrier and is thereby always locked to land, or needs to be the same weird-ass design as the White Raven, right?
Hmm.
So while I understand the argument, we just got our second fighter, I personally think it's, and I'm sorry that I have to label it, I think it's a bit rage baity as an argument because it glosses over the fact why we have 2 fighters. Like they could have made it themselves easier by just giving us a carrier as well, flat top. And the torpedo plane is not capable of doing it, right? Like to my
they
knowledge,
can always
the
rework
French
stuff
was
though.
They
can always rework it, like just like the destroyer. Like the destroyer rework was
good.
Chef's fucking kiss.
Everyone in the Warden faction now asks himself, because I know a lot of the Warden Navy guys asked for the same issue, because they don't want to win naval fights because of interior design. No one asked for the Frick redesign internally. That is now horrible.
Yeah, I didn't even. I knew it got redesigned, but what is it like? What's wrong with it?
No, it got redesigned. The internals are now redesigned.
No, I knew that, but I didn't know what's wrong with it.
They are OTD interior now, apparently. I haven't tested it myself. They are apparently equivalent to the old DD interior design, the dogshit design.
Oh.
Performance-wise. That's what Warden Navy regiments tell me. I don't verify it. I trust the people. Maybe they were telling me bullshit. I don't know. But, I mean, seems like a weird...
We're doing a lot of like comparisons of the Harpy and the Sea Fighter. I don't think the Harpy was meant to like be the colonial counterpart of the second fighter. I think it was.
I mean, but you said supposed to get the same amount of fighter, right?
Well, no, I said same amount of planes. I never said fighter. I think the Harpy is kind of like the colonial's version of the torpedo plane, or like the analog of it, right?
I did make that point last week too. What's weird enough, I actually agree with this, Vaney. So the Harpy is actually to the torpedo bomber in plane parts. The Sea Fighter is to the dive bomber. And the Harpy, or not, the Toxot is to the
Harbinger.
The Harbinger.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then we assume that if we assume that now the arsenal is complete, let's be real. Which side would you pick? In regards of capability and capacity.
It's hard to say. I would pick just because I like the collies. I think the Warden equipment's fun though, but I would pick the collie just because.
If you have our 4 airplanes and you have the 4 collie airplanes, which one would you choose?
Shit, I would probably.
I don't know a lot of
I would
Wardens
pick and choose. Like if we were to stack each like plane up against each other, it would probably.
No. You get the arsenal. Assuming I like the argument because part-wise it makes sense. They now just completed what was incomplete before, so now you have both arsenals. You have the colonial airplane arsenal and the Warden airplane arsenal. And if you assume that's it, the only close air support Wardens have is the 14.5 on the Harbinger.
Okay, but to be that exact point, though, the only naval power we have is turreting versus you can put large holes, which nerfed.
Yes, exactly.
But like, exactly. So that argument...
No, it's not the same.
That argument is, like, exactly what I'm trying to get at is, what would your side prefer? I mean, and a lot of people, if you want to play naval, I think you go Warden right now. If you want to play... tanks, I would go colonial, right? And again, it's kind of a...
It all comes back to asymmetry. It always comes back to asymmetry, doesn't it?
It comes back to this as well with... I think, again, both sides have a bit of an identity. It all comes back to that same compounding, like, 6 problems we always keep talking about. The Wardens, even if they do get cast, your issue is the HP is so high... What do we do to give Wardens cast to make it decent against these high HP tanks? Well, then it's just going to shit on everything below that, you know what I mean? Then it's going to one-tap CVs. It's going to one-tap all the lighter Vics. It's going to be very OP. But how do you get something that can work for both? Well, I think something, again, kind of, you know, I hate to talk Legendary kind of had a decent idea. What if it brought cluster droplets? And it just did an instant fucking... It was a track. It was a bombing run, and it was a track machine. You know what I mean? It's not precision, but it's cluster munitions. You do a carpet bomb on an area.
We also don't have to come up with a solution, right? But
exactly.
All I can tell you right now, from a Warden perspective, like largely speaking, now we can bridge the gap even further, maybe. I don't know. There's not a whole of... And you will disagree with this, but there's not a whole lot of reasons to play right now. Like, what gear do you play for? Like, whatever
you want, I suppose. Like, there's tools on either side that are still fun. Like, when we come down to it, what is it? It's a video game. It's supposed to be fun. Now, do I
Yeah,
have fun going out on the water? I still do, even though the wardens are much stronger on the water. I still have fun, even though.
yeah, but are they stronger because of equipment right now?
I think it's because of skill. I don't think equipment is bad on water, and I actually think Colonials have a bit of an edge on water.
is a far stronger submarine.
Yeah, but I also think the Strider is a far superior light boat.
It's easier. Yeah, it's just easier.
The
so, yeah,
Strider.
I would say the Naki, absolutely. The Strider is a better boat. Yep.
You know what I mean? I think Navy's actually getting closer to even as it's been in a minute. I don't know about the frigate indifference on the internals. Again, if that's an issue, like that needs to be brought up and talked to the devs, and then we'll wait 6 years, and then they'll finally fix it. You know. But you know, hey, it needs to be talked about.
6 years, huh? That's optimistic.
Fixed, changed. Monkey paw curls, so you get one room.
I think if all this were to stop and we were to kind of, get a game that everybody's happy with, it's almost as if asymmetry it needs to be really scaled down. Like maybe some like very specific tools, but for the most part, I just don't think it works like in the way they want it to.
Well, I
because
think
they keep adding stuff that like further to divide, like, and they're kind of just making it worse over time, like with a lot of things.
I mean, I think there is a way they can get it done, but again, now we're in the devs' heads. The compounding problems are only going to get worse with time, but the only way to fix it is to keep adding. You know what I mean? Like, unless you just change numbers over and over, but then you get into a numbers change game to where one side gets a pendulum swing for 6 weeks. At what point does symmetry and asymmetry need to converge? That's what needs to be. I think what it needs to happen is there needs to be a checklist for both factions that an objective can get done with said equipment just as good as the other, but differently. So
that's the old Cutler versus
Lanier debate
for like PvE. That's exactly what that. I think both are great. That's the thing is with this, both tools are fantastic. And they just
barbed
do it
wire
differently.
fences would not if barbed wire fences would not exist, I could agree, but they do.
Yeah, but I mean, sure, that might limit you in that point, but we can't use Lunaires against vehicles really. So there's a whole other aspect of the game that you can use them for. They might not be the strongest.
Yes, and you use your Lunaire against infantry. That's the asymmetry. They are both mainly PvE tools that have like side grades. We can occasionally shoot at a tank.
They're both good though. They're both good.
Yes, they're both good. Yeah. It's just very unfortunate that one piece is like that. One is way easier to get protected against from the builder perspective.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I've said it a lot before, and I think Vaney makes a great point. I think for pure PvE purposes, I think the Lanier is better. I think as a multi-role tool, I think the Cutler's better. I think the Cutler, you can cut down a Lanier blob with a half-track every single fucking time. I dare you to bring a half-track versus a Cutler blob. Like, that's you know what I mean?
5 seconds.
It's very, you can cut it in a million different ways. The Cutler versus Lanier is the most even debate because both sides hate the other fucking piece.
Yes,
is there bullshit in other... There's bullshit in it. I think there's bullshit in it. I agree. But again, that's the same fucking argument. I think fucking the fact that ours can't kill vehicles on an impact or whatever the fuck, both sides hate the reality of it. You can outplay a Lanier with a vehicle. We can outplay you with a fence. One's stagnant defense, one's active defense. And that's the caveat of the bitch.
Asymmetry again, boys. Always on the menu.
That just sucks, you know what I mean? So, at the end of the day...
you can also just take a rifle against... But you can also just take a rifle against a Cutler.
You can also just take a rifle against a Lanier.
Yeah, you can... Like, unless you're in a trench, like, you're not really in danger from a Lunaire. And at that point, at the most, it would be gas. And that gas is pretty easy to avoid. Like, you just have to jump out. You have, now that they nerf gas to where it doesn't, like, bleed you, like, it just drains your stamina, like, you can just hop out and you're fine.
I just think, really I'm not going to sit here and try to debate with you, Graf. I know the Lanier is better at PvE. I admit that. But if you're going to sit there and try to deny that the Lanier is just as annoying in different ways, that's brain rot. I think the Lanier and the Cutler is almost the most balanced because both sides hate the piece just as equivalent on the other side. That's like bare minimum. You know, I think we can both agree both are very potent pieces of shit. All that being said, all the rage bait, all the bullshit, we can have a good conversation. I think that's what we need to strive for as a community.
That's the thing about this game, man. Like, we need each other. I'll say it right here, man. I need the Wardens. Otherwise, we don't have a game.
Well, that's the point, right? And I think that they really... I don't know how they... I can spit out a million different ideas, and so can you. And maybe I should stop doing that. I'm not, but I like to brainstorm and come up with creative ways that they can help improve the game. But at the end of the day, I think we've addressed the core problems that we think are in the game. That if they can address these issues, would make the game a lot better. I know there's a lot of distaste on the Warden side right now, and I'm 100% on the voting board that the Silverhand needs reworked. I have been on that board for almost a year now. I don't think the Silverhand's in a good place. It has the falchion turret up top. It has a lot of tanks need revisited across the board, both Colonial and Warden. But I think the Silverhand right now needs to be the pinnacle focus for them, because with the Kali HP, you guys need a punching bag for us to hit and not fucking die immediately. I really think if they're going to keep it implemented as the way it is right now, where the Outlaw does not have the range advantage anymore, the HCD are going to get busted up by Talos, and that fight's going to be deadlock. The Outlaw Spatha is going to be deadlock. I think the Silverhand needs to be on match with the Bardiche in some facet. The Bardiche is an outlier. The Nemesis, I would put on par, weirdly enough, with the Bone Law, which is insane for most people. But with the amount of HP you can send out damage-wise with the Nemesis, I would put it at a Bone Law. They play the exact same way. You don't have to play them like that, but they're flank tanks. They're very good at tracking and putting tremolas on assholes. They're very good at that. And... again,
I mean, you don't have to agree with it, right? Like, that's the other thing. But I can tell you, from the Warden vets that I talk to, they don't see a lot of reasons to play the game right now. And I think the way that the balancing got done, like with these...
It's funny how the pendulum just fucking swinged, isn't it?
I mean, they're just using a sledgehammer, right? And I think there were legitimate complaints that people were upset about. And I think if the answer is you won Airborne and now all Collie tanks get buffed, even though the majority of those changes were not asked for, feels a bit like spit in the face, you know?
Oh yeah.
And Collies showed us what needs to be done to get hurt. That's
okay.
Like,
well,
I'm not saying they were wrong.
Both sides have done this.
Yes,
Don't do. I don't want to put it in that way, and I'm not going to tell you what to do, but. Don't paint a picture that one side is the only side that has done, and it wasn't even just Collies that did the review bomb in that mass review bomb.
I'm just saying,
but
if you
as a player base,
I agree that the player base on large, but I also think there was a lot of resentment in the Colonial faction for it.
100%. I think the game.
Same argument goes. The same argument goes for what happened after War 100. I don't think it was just Wardens review bombs.
I agree, but that's who get. You know, I get one side catches the blame for it because they were the losing party of it, but I think a majority of people were pissed off at the decisions made, and that's what I'm trying to correct in myself and in the community of playing the blame game. Obviously, if you're a Colonial looking at this situation right now and you can't see that there is an imbalance or an indifference, you need to open your eyes to see that things are not fun for the Wardens at the moment. But at the other half, Wardens have to also understand we've been biting the shithole for a minute. Don't let us have it. You know, it shouldn't be a, pendulum swing. We shouldn't go that way, but don't just fucking ask for nerfs right back into the dirt where it goes right back to the fucking other side. It needs to be somewhere the fucking word. If I got a dime for every time we said the word fucking balance. Oh, bro, I'd have a fucking balance, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can tell you, for me and a lot of other Warden vets, it feels like they are striving for 50% win rate now. And I can tell you, if that is their aim, what is the reason to play beyond 5-day wars? Give
Why
them the
would we
fucking
want to play
arbitrary...
if we're losing more than 50% of the time? That's the opposite end of it. You have to
Yeah,
realize
but you also have to
that.
look at it how you won and how you lost the wars, right? That's also part of it, right? It's not like the wars were sweeping in any of those wars. It was
I
always
mean,
wars
didn't you
that
guys
took-
just have like a 6-win streak? Like not too long ago.
No, if all of these wars were full-fledged wars, you won last war, right? It's a full-fledged war.
It is a full-fledged war, yeah.
Yeah, okay, then it is what it is. If you don't want to understand my argument, it's okay. I'm not on Reddit. If you want to discuss this way, we can go, but I don't think it's productive. All I'm trying to say is, the point that I initially wanted to make is, as a warden right now, you have to look how you can actually win wars the collies log into. And currently, and the way probably maybe it should be, you never have a saying early war. Never ever. And you have to wait until collies log off. Maybe that's the way that game is supposed to be played, maybe. But I can tell you, it's not a warden psyop, or we do it on purpose that we lose territory early on. All I can say, we don't do it on
When
purpose.
does the early game end in your mind? Like, what's the piece of equipment that officially shifts like early to mid game in your mind?
Probably 120s with Lunaires, right?
Already, I would agree. When it comes to like, I feel like the wardens don't utilize a lot of their early game tools. Like, you guys have hacks and gacks and all this other stuff.
Okay, so
Meanwhile-
we are back to skill issue. Okay, well then.
No, it's not
why can't-
necessarily a skill issue. I just think
No, you
that,
say that we don't use the equipment we have right. So
No, I didn't say you don't use it right. I said you guys don't use it. Like, we got to play with the GAC last war, and we were like, holy shit, the fact that the wardens don't spam like a quadrillion of these things is insane. Because we were able to kill like 4 bunker bases with 1 GAC. So I just think you guys, you got to use it. That early game stuff is really good. I don't
when
know
did
if
you
you
use
know.
it? Last war?
Last war.
Yeah, who did you face? Warden Vets, right?
We're
Very
taking
stiff opposition.
27th and some other regiments up there in Northwest.
I think it's easy to say what the other side should feel or do. I can see the dilemma in Warden's tanking right now.
I mean, we will see.
but
We will see, right?
at the end of the
how
day-
how many 5 days wars does it take to agree that there's an issue? We will see. Maybe this war is not an issue. Maybe I'm making.
But Graph,
maybe
at
I'm
the same
making
time of
problems
that,
up in my
hold
head.
on. But to say the same time of that, I'm not going to let you have the cake both ways, because this exact same argument was said when we were getting our shit kicked in, and you had the opposite opinion that it was skill issue. That was exactly what was said to me.
No,
That
I said you
Colonials-
lost the bomber war. I did not say that the colonials on larger skill issue. I just said that you lost the bomber war. The same way last war we lost nuke war. You guys didn't dupe the rares. It's also never provable. It's complete cope. Like duping rares, how are you supposed to ever prove it? It's complete copium. The thing that is undisputed, something happened with tech mats in the airborne update war. That one is beyond suspicious. And you can never have a pinpoint, this person did that and that's why it happened, right? It's just evidence-based accusations at that point, right? I think in rares, it's not even true. Like, we had way more large ships, it's fine. And you guys just, you guys coordinated better and you won. Fair, square and fair. It's okay. Feels like shit, right?
I
But,
just am saying
it is what it is.
right now. This, I guess, is what it comes down to, and I'll put it
And that's what
bluntly.
last time I was on the pet course. That's what I said. You guys lost the bomber war, get fucked. And I still stand by that. It is what happened. Like the one mechanic, and I'm not saying, by the way, that's a very important distinction. I don't think that bombers, the way that they released, were healthy for the game whatsoever.
Well, there was
Like, not
three
at all.
things that
I don't
I've
think
actually.
Airborne in general was healthy for the game when it was released. That
Yeah,
whole update
I
was a
agree on
shit
that as
show.
well. I agree on that as well. Like, I
Especially the
think
bombers. Especially the bombers.
bombers were not fair, not fun. Torps were not fun. Dive bombers were not fun. Actually, nothing was truly fun.
It was fun if you were piloting them and shitting on everything on the ground, but if you were on
Well,
the ground,
I
it
mean,
sucked ass.
talk about like air
Yeah.
going through it. Bombers were horrible. Fighters were horrible. Dive bombers were aids. We literally couldn't have a navy. I mean, there was literally no fact for the Colonials to even play airborne war if you actually
No,
knew
there
the
wasn't.
stats.
And then heavy
before
bombers
the-
tagged, right?
And
We
it's
got
even
torp bombers,
worse.
and we
Well, and
we
to,
thought that's
to
the
fact
worst that happens.
what's
and-
even worse, you had more runways than us start out.
Yes. That
And
as
that's
well.
even
We had to
another
implement the
layer
software
on,
instead.
right? Like,
Yes.
it was not well implemented at all, and the way places
not.
airborne or runways were fuck me.
It's horrible. I mean, I also have to say, I think it's a good idea that they did the move back in Endless, because let's be real, the evil eye airfield was horseshit, you couldn't build it. But then they said, well, the airfields are always balanced crossover. I don't think that the Endless airfield compares very well to the one in Ferenic, and I for sure do not think that the one in King's Cage is the same as in Clastra.
Oh, we
Right?
already agreed on
Like-
that last episode. Claustra needs to be
Yeah, I
moved
think
up
so.
to. We said that literally last
wrote the
episode. It
Yeah,
needs
I
to
wrote the
be
chat, right.
to Vault
Yeah.
Relic. It needs to be moved to the Vault. It has to be.
And
moved
one of
to
the other
Vault.
things, since 1.0 release, Reaching Trail does not have water. Bewildering. Completely bewildering, and it regularly gets cold, right? Not this war, luckily, but regularly speaking, it gets cold on a relatively regular basis. And you can make coal work without water, but I mean, we all know, not really, right? You would prefer not to. So, yeah.
Can I ask you something, Graf? So we
Yes,
all
always.
agree here. I think that the Airborne update, when it dropped, was not.
I mean,
good for
I had the
game,
best time
right?
of my life. On a side note, Airborne was one of the best wars I've ever fought because I abused the shit out of bombers.
Okay,
but
but
at
if
the
we're
same
looking
time,
at
it was
the
not.
game, like, do you think it was
Yes.
good for the game? Like, it was just a shit
No.
update, wasn't it?
No,
Alright,
I
so
don't
we're
think-
all in agreement, I think there. Do you
Yes.
think that the game is the game, not how much fun it, just from a balance perspective? Do you think it's in a better place right now than it was when the Airborne update dropped?
No, I think the game is steadily decreasing since they did the building rework.
I'm just talking about from the Airborne update to now.
I mean,
Quality of
in terms
life improved, but the overall game is worse.
Okay,
Not better.
interesting.
It's not better. It's not worse. It's better, obviously. I mean, the only thing they added since Airborne is the Harpy. The Harpy does not have an overall impact on the war. So overall, it's better. The quality of life they implemented, chef's kiss. A lot of the stuff is just outright faction neutral, very good. But the game, in my personal opinion, is on a deteriorating trend since quite some time. And if I had to pinpoint the point, I think it's probably with the building rework. I think they lost the ball with that one, because I don't know a single builder that mainly builds that has... Again, there was quality in life in that update, which was good. Like getting cursed corners out, super good, right? And a lot of other stuff. But the overall, like, the implementation of Breach, the nerfing of Concrete, like what they did with storm cannons that you now have battery pack, like, a lot of this stuff is complete horseshit. And I don't like it, and I think it's one of the main reasons why this game is deteriorating. Same reason I don't like Tank Bloom, and like there's so much I just really, really dislike, and I'm asking myself who they are developing this game for, because I don't know a single person in agreement with it. But
Tank Bloom is one thing where I feel like maybe they went too far, but being able to laser beam infantry, like,
yes,
was a bit
exactly.
ridiculous.
This is the one thing why they did it, and then they removed all skill expression from the gunner, because now if you want to snipe for the tracks, you have a 50% chance that you hit dirt, and that's way worse than not hitting a track, right? Like, yeah.
well,
I
and
don't
to
know.
top that as well, they also are like, I would actually go further back than that. I would almost argue to say
Maybe it's even Navy.
I was gonna
because
go
what they did-
Navy. That's actually
DD
my.
and submarine.
That's
and
where,
submarine release.
yeah. It's
Then they did it. They told us they will not do it again, and they did it again for aircraft with the dive bomb and the torpedo plane. And you can't make this shit up. They told us they understood why we hated it, what was one of the main reasons. Everyone was agreeing with it, and then they did it again. I can't. Like, it's
very weird. I would argue, and yeah, I would definitely say I'd definitely say it's Navy that was the pinning turn point. I mean, you can arguably, some people would say it was Facility when it was first implemented, but I think Facility has opened up a lot of different gameplay aspects for a lot of people. But oof, I don't know. I definitely, the saddest part is, and I can honestly say this, I had no urge to play Last War other than to play in the Harpy.
that one got taken away. That's
And that literally got taken away. And it just, to me right now, the game is in such a, like... It almost just feels like who can slave the most in the back, not actually who can actually give any skill expression or anything. It's literally just who's willing to hit the fucking hammer more. And it's not... There's no skill expression.
I also think the building update to going back to that, removed a lot of the enjoyment of last standing in a war. Because it used to be that like you could actually like you defended like a concrete piece for like very long and you've really fought over it. That's unfortunately completely gone. That kind of skill expression, because concrete can just be wrangled down by anything, right? I don't know.
Nukes are also an interesting.
I mean, they are faction neutral. I give the points on that, but I don't think that they add any value to the game right now. Honestly, because
I think it helps break through sieges. And
but it didn't really. Because you killed a lot of the hubs that you need to push.
No, I mean, we won with it, so obviously it didn't break us. So, my point being, though...
Yeah, but did you... One second. Did the nukes kill the defenses that stopped you, or did it kill the other faction from logging in?
Potato, potato. It doesn't matter how the cookie crumbles.
Let's talk about a specific example, which was Treasury. Once they got rid of that garage and all that other shit, obviously they didn't really have much left to defend with. You know, that was the hardest part breaking through there. Was first of all the mortar house kept us getting close every time. We never had an answer for that. The garage, they always had fresh vehicles, which was just a nightmare to tank against. You know, they could just drive 10 feet away and boom, brand new armor. And so that alone, I think, even if Nuke just killed those two buildings instead of the whole city, that would have been enough for us to get through. I mean, trust me, as somebody who was there every single day for 2.5 weeks and asked my guys, it fucking drove me nuts, but I was committed. The mortar house was the most that was the worst thing about that whole fight for us. We could never get close enough.
I mean,
so that alone made it worth it for me.
My thing is with the war right now, and let me ask you this: do you think the map is in a good state? That's actually a really big question I have for a lot of people.
I don't think it is.
I think the map is also a core foundation issue in this game right now. I think the map is actually horribly laid out, and it's not even like they say. And there are so many fucking choke points for both teams that are just not fair at all to even play in. And there's places that are literally undefendable. That it doesn't matter. It's going to the enemy team. And safe house like layout, like the fairness in the fucking map is, I mean, one glaring issue. Like this airfield, how are you supposed to fucking defend this?
Yeah, there's so many glaring issues that are just super questionable, right? Like the safe house in Viper's Pit. How does it take you multiple years to fix the fucking safe house in Fort Viper?
I mean, one of the biggest things too. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm just gonna fucking zoom in on my map, and you'll understand exactly what I'm fucking talking about.
To a certain degree, Sableport, Talos Fort. What's the purpose of that fucking relic? It's just there to be a zoo, right? On the other hand,
the gallows
placement,
the gallows is horrible.
The placement is perfect. The gallows is very questionable as anything. Yeah.
It literally is just a fucking zoo, or it's the first place you take in the advance to hold fast. It's a spawn point for hold fast to push it as a warden. As a colonial, I dare you to try to defend that. I fucking dare you. I'll see you next war, buddy. You know, fuck, dude. Just the map in general. There's so many. What's that?
I will be right back in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, no worries. I think the map is. I think the map is really in a bad spot. I think it's dramatically outdated for the equipment we have today. I think
too damn big, man.
Well, the map being big is not an issue in my eyes. I think having space where there's nothing there is good and healthy for pushes. It stretches out supply lines, which is good as the defender. But I think the biggest issue is also building terrain. Like, I don't know. In all honesty, I wish they would just flatten the fucking map and then make straight fucking rocks out of it and not gradual hills and weird fucking hills that we can't build in, because god damn it, I am so tired of not being able to build in a clear open patch of ground. I can't fucking tell you. And there's so many places, oh, not my stream. There's so many places that it's so bad. Like, why Reaching Trail doesn't have water? I'm not even going to lie. 70% of fucking Ashfields isn't buildable. When you add the decay zone in this bitch, Where am I supposed to build, like, anything here that they can't just go around and fuck me? It's the worst place. Like, this rock takes... Like, look how much rock is taken up in Ash. There is so much shit here that's just not usable. It's horrible. I fucking tried building in Shackled. Same issue. It's just ass, and it's all, like, vertical hills, and trying to build anything here just sucks.
While we're on the topic, too, let us destroy some trees, please, you know?
I just wanted to go into this, because since 1.0...
Stop, guys. I'm gonna cut the fucking... I'm cutting the fucking... No, guys, stop fucking dreaming. They're never gonna let us do it. Suffer in silence. Suffer in silence.
Hey, I'm a dreamer.
Be happy. Be happy, foxhole player. You get to play our fucking game. Suffer the tree, bitch.
Let me LARP as a lumberjack, alright? It'll be fun.
The thing is, right, in Sableport you have this jungle in the middle. At least they don't have the audacity of spawning a resource field in there. But if you look at Umbral Wildwood...
Oh yeah, all the time.
They regularly spawn a lot of fields all over the jungle. It's unbuildable. And they're completely dismissing the issues that you have as a facility builder, that you need defenses. You cannot just put down 5 facility buildings and just hope that partisans will not burn it down, right?
There's so many places in the game that are, like, I'm gonna be honest, one of my first wars with Bone, right here, where's Decay? One of the hardest places we ever had to push was, this is War 105, or 104. 104th and Bone were pushing Outwitch, and they had 120s here, and we couldn't build in the decay zone right here, all the way up until here, and their 120s could reach to, like, it was 350, so they would, like, there's only one place to build a bunker, and with wind, you can't even place the bunker here, and you can't place defenses here. Like, literally, and what kept happening is we'd push up the road, they'd run in the decay zone where we couldn't build, and I shit you not, there was probably 10 comp fields worth of tanks that just died on that road because we could not build defenses. How is someone supposed to push this? Like, it's just, like...
It goes so far. It goes so far. The same, like, why is ocean travel disabled, right? Because this ocean travel issue also plays into, like, the way that rivers are placed, the cross-traverse of rivers. Why can't the backline be connected to each other with rivers, right? Like, there's no river between Speaking and Basin. There's nothing between Kalukai and Rid River. That's super questionable, right? Then, like, having this East and West Navy is just super unfun. It kills cooperation, which is one of the strongest assets of this game, right? The MMO aspect of it completely kills it. Questionable. There's so much, like... And I also have to say, I like a lot of the landmarks on the new islands that got added. But Jesus, these new islands are fucking useless. They are not connected with rail to mainland, which means you can't even properly extract resources, because even the Bowhead, our new big toy, is not really all that great considering the amount of resources.
And you can't put fucking liquid in it. Why do we not have a thing that can hold, so much, like, pop liquid in, dude?
We would need a proper container ship that can haul, like, I don't know, 30, 34, 35,
fuck that. Give me 50 fucking thousand. Give me, like, 50,000. Like, give me a fucking...
The container. I meant containers, right?
No, yeah, I'm saying give me, like, 50,000 liquid, dude. Like, give me where I can haul 50,000 liquid. And this is
logic forever. We need, like, an oil tanker ship. The oil platforms are kind of useless.
We need anything, but the issue with these new islands is they are not really connected to the mainland, which means it's super hard to extract resources. Yeah. They are always just there for the day, for the first couple of weeks for overflow pop, and outside of that, they're not that well designed either. I don't know, like, completely useless addition to the game, and we see it this war as well. The starting conditions are purposefully made in a way, at least in my opinion, to shrink down the map without shrinking down the map, because they basically took away these new islands from both factions day one, so that we can only fight over those central lanes. And I already have enough issues with the central lanes, and I think all of these reworks there with the Navy and it doesn't add a lot of quality to the game. Like, it's just so weird.
I don't know. I think, again, I think core problems need to be addressed in these balance changes. as much as additions and numbers tweaks. I would like to see more numbers tweaks and more testing, because if the game's already in a bad step, if the game's already in a bad state, which we're on a Wednesday, no, it's Tuesday at 5:48 p.m. and we have 2,000 players on at war day 1. You could call it 3K. This is a horrible war. This is like
real,
quote unquote a dead game.
If we talk real right now, looking at the map as it is right now, I don't think it will be long war either.
I mean, so many things are already changing. Like they literally,
And
why
with
we
already
had
lots
this
of cup-
podcast, why we've had this podcast, they've taken 1, 2, 3, 5 relics in a town hall, a tier 3 town hall. Why, like literally, why we're just having this podcast? That's free PvE and Palatine Berm. Like,
I mean, that was meant to be lost, right? It was not meant to be held.
Soul
It's just no
Road
one in fingers
KC.
on him. But look at the front lines. So many empty front lines. Those loss ratios for day 1, dead.
I'm just saying, it could be the game's in a stale spot. I'm not going to give up on Foxhole, but I think
No, me neither.
the devs need to do the core foundations.
The core gameplay is the best game I've ever played. It's still like this is why I have so many hours in the game as well. Like the core idea of the game and so on is one of the best games I've ever played. It's
There's
super
nothing
addictive
else
as well.
really like it, you know.
There's not.
There is nothing
Kinda-
else like it.
This is
I heard so
if we wanna
many
play something
comparisons.
Like this is it.
Yeah, I heard so many comparisons recently to War Dogs. Man, it's
No,
really
not
not.
even close. No.
It's really not. Like maybe on a super surface level, but outside of that, it's really not. And
yeah.
I don't know. It's just super frustrating to deal with the way that they balance, because it's not Colley's fault that they sledgehammer balance, right? No one asked for torpedo bombers and dive bombers to be really. I also think, like again with like protecting devs and so on, right? They acknowledged the problems and then they did it again, and it completely split the player base and had us at each other's throat again. Dive bomber here, top bomber there. I don't know.
I believe in this game. It's my
Yeah, me as well.
favorite
I
game.
hope for the best.
I
I wish.
I
but-
will go down with this ship whenever it happens. You know, eventually this game will not be a thing anymore. Whether it's
That's when
because
they
Hopefully
sell
they'll come
Foxhole
through with
2. Yeah.
Foxhole
Yeah,
2,
that's-
yeah, I
oh.
will switch over to that. But like for as long as this game exists, I will play it. I just want that to be a while. You know, and I think we're probably a while away too from it like completely being shut down. You know, servers and all that, years even. But I believe in this game, and
I mean, the game
my
was
favorite thing
running
about the
with
game
300
is the community. You know, the gameplay's great, all that. You know, I like going out there doing infantry, but the community is kind of what I'm crazy about. Logging on and hanging out with the guys, and it's just there's nothing else like it. There's really not, and it's insane to me that nobody's tried to duplicate it. Shit, man, they could probably make a killing if they made like a Foxhole. Maybe that's what the game needs. Maybe the devs need like a competitor, you know? What if somebody came out with like a Foxhole-like game and it was better
Yeah, you
in a
just
lot of ways?
you might get your account revoked. Fuck the fucking hidden circle. You just banned for 24 hours, buddy. You're fucking cooked.
Hey, competition's good, man. Maybe that's why the game is the way it is. They don't have anything that competes with this game. This is
I
it.
really
They
am
know that people
curious.
come in here.
I'm really curious what's going on. Like this is where I think I want to come back to community manager too. I would love a transcribe from the devs' thoughts to where we're at. Like, I want to know what is the thought process and what's going on right now. Like,
It's the vision, brother.
I really want to know. And the thing is, dude, like, we're not even going to get to play with the new updates toy again, dude. Like,
I hope we do. I've been thinking about that all day. I really hope that we get to try it in a live
I
war,
literally
just to
don't
see what
even
we
think
got.
we're going to.
Maybe not.
We'll
see.
And maybe Foxhole 2 is what they need, and they need to sell a new game and get better netcoding and go to Unreal Engine 6, and maybe then we can have Foxhole 2. Maybe that's what they're going to go after, and maybe that's something they could pursue, but I'm almost at the point where I go in circles and talk. And I think everyone does this, even in their friend groups.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about this in Discords and stuff. At the end of the day, I'm not quitting the game. I'm not gonna leave it. I'm not gonna talk shit on it. I want it to be fixed. But going in these circles, it comes back to the same core foundations. And I think the first step, and I hope you guys would agree, the first step is to get the community and the devs in the same page and a filter from the community to the devs so they know and actually understand what we want. After that, fundamentally fix your core issues that have been plaguing the game. And I think they'll never understand the core issues through the player's eyes until they get a community manager to filter the spew of bullshit that we spit at these devs. Like, I can't, like, I am a content creator for Foxhole, Vanny, I know you are. The takes I have heard, oh my god, can you imagine being here since day one? Listening to everyone? I wouldn't want to talk to my fucking community either. I'd put that shit on mute. You know? Fuck. But that's the first step, dude. Communication is always the first step. And it's got to change, dude. Because it's almost already going right back down in the doomer phase. Right back to right after Airborne. That's what it feels like for the Wardens right now. And it's just... what can they do right now to fix it? You know, you can't do anything too rash, otherwise you lose the collies, because... And then...
I mean, everyone is up in arms, right?
Everyone is.
It always feels like everyone is at their last straw. A lot of people lost their patience. A lot of people lost trust as well. Rightfully so. I think that is one of the biggest issues with Airborne. And then again, right, I get the argument. Harpy is not a close air support airplane, right? I get it. It's really not. Yet again, it's probably the Logi Raper 9000, but that's not part of it, right? But...
I actually did the math, by the way. Your 20 mil on your gun will still out DPS ours, even with the fire rate advantage. Like, damage per minute, you'll out actually damage us, by the way.
Did they remove low velocity, the high velocity, or what happened?
They removed the high-vo on the 20s on the front for the Harpy.
The 14.5, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, so you still have the high-vo, we don't, but we have the fire rate. So you'll actually end up... DPM, we will win because we have a larger magazine. DPS, you will get more damage out quicker than we will.
Yeah.
So in a dogfight, you actually have the better 14.5. I was just doing the math.
I mean, in a dogfight, you don't use it, right? Because the 20 mil is still better.
Well,
it was just borderline. It's just borderline, and then you have turret.
For
and
bigger
14.5
planes, actually, I would use the 14.5. For smaller fighters, I would use 20. For actually ripping parts off and damaging, I'm pretty sure 14.5 shreds quicker to actually damage the part down to damaged. I actually am not like that skilled of like knowledge in the fighter realm, but I'm pretty sure 14.5 will shred a part down faster than a 20 mil. But that's if you can get... I can't do the math right now, but I'm pretty sure like shots consistently hitting the spot, I'm pretty sure the 14.5 will win DPS. 90% sure on that. But, sorry, that was a side note. I was just doing the math on that. So.
No, it's alright. It's alright.
But yeah, you know, we can disagree on the small stuff, and at the end of the day, it doesn't even fucking matter if we disagree. We can have our opinions. That's fine. Talking about it's good. Talking about solutions is good. What the devs do is what really fucking matters, and that's why I'm so optimistic, and I always try to spew fucking dumb ideas, because if you throw enough shit at the wall, hopefully something sticks, but there's not even a filter for it to stick right now. You know, I can't even slide through all the shit. I'm just getting stuck there with all the other shit. But, you know, I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful that they listen. I'm really hopeful that they learned.
I'm pessimistic. My personal take is I'm super pessimistic, I have to admit, because the recent track record is really not good. And they said that they want to, like, so far a lot of the stuff is just empty words for me, personally speaking. I don't know. Maybe it's too pessimistic, but...
I am happy they're doing their 6-week cycle, though. I'm actually very happy they actually have stuff
but they're not doing a lot with it. Look at it, like, outside of the initial balance drop that they did with tanks, they have not done any balancing.
I mean,
it's just drip feeding us content. They're just drip feeding us content. Like, we get an air raid siren and AA tanks. That's it for 6 weeks. Now we get the Harpy. That's it. Like, there's some quality changes in there, but
I was going to say the refinery change.
Yeah, that's
but how much dev time does that really take? Is it really that crazy?
I don't fucking know.
It might not be that hard to implement from a code perspective, but like from a gameplay perspective, it's gigantic.
Yeah, but from a code perspective, that's why we only have these 6 wars to instantly get the content.
But I can't control it. All I know is like what we can play with, and having like the refinery thing is such a cool update, and it makes it so much easier to collaborate with everybody in the squad. And
did they touch the inventory size though of the refinery, or is it still only 32,000?
I'm pretty sure they did. Also, didn't they up the size of the resource transfer stations or the materials transfer stations?
They did bump that. They're back up at 30 now too, so that's cool.
So there's like these little things.
They're not necessarily.
They're always these little things, but the question is, do they outweigh the big issues that we have, right?
For me, they do, but I'm
a bit of a sicko.
I know, and you're gonna say, but you're a collie. And
well, no, but here, Vaney. But at the end of the day, though, your point or not, being optimistic is good. Being a streamer, being whatever, you're a different spec than I would put 90% of the player base. Obviously, there's something not going. The people are not happy. Obviously, we're in a different boat than most people. You got to look through the lens of the overall population, and you can only look at numbers. Like, we're at a really bad war start. Can it pick up? Yes. Can it be a slow war start? Yes. But is there anything right now that this game is offering that hasn't been done already? And do you, like, we already said it in this podcast, we think it's going to be another quick war. And if it is, it's just going to skew the stat line even more for win-loss. Now, does win-loss matter? No. But it is a fucking...
right? Because a lot of people are not willing, that doesn't mean that you guys are part of this, are not even willing to talk about balance until we have the 50% magic balance thing, even though those wars are like years back and shouldn't really matter, right? But yeah.
I mean, I've always just gone off of 1.0 and forward, and even then, I've already started to go off that even a little bit, and I started only counting, and yeah, that's the thing, and like... That it's so weird when you look at this, because this is the stat sheet everyone really cares about. 72 to 65. It's really, if I don't even count wars, like you can't even count that. Like you can't even count those. That's not even a million. I don't even count it if it's not above 1 million casualties. And even then, I've never really even counted it unless it was above 2. Like above 2 is borderline a fast as fuck war. Like 21 days, that's a fast fucking war, bro. Like,
I mean, you barely unlocked the entire tech tree, I think, right?
Like,
it should take you about 20 minimum. How long does it take you to unlock the tech tree?
I think it's closer to 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
I don't know.
This is an open-ended war. I don't know if you guys knew this. I told Bear last night.
But
it's an open-ended
just because
war,
they make it open-end, the player base doesn't make it open-end. And
no, I'm more wondering what that means for like the update. Like,
that's actually a good point. So he did talk about this morning. That's a decent point to bring up. It is open-ended. So what I kind of suggested being the optimist. I wouldn't call myself an optimist. An idea I had. I don't know. Maybe I'm an optimist. Idea I had, and I kind of said it with him, and he agreed, and I don't know whose idea it was. It doesn't fucking matter. Maybe they already have the content update for the next 6-week patch ready to go, and after this war, they just dump more shit.
Yeah, we will get more content drip feed. I don't think, but yeah, I don't know.
They could surprise you. You never know.
They could.
Maybe.
They could.
Maybe.
Let's hope, right?
I just lost trust, basically.
Yeah.
I still love the game. I love the people I play with.
He loves coming to this podcast. It's awesome.
Yeah.
No, but in the colonials, wow. In the devil.
He's a collie! You heard him! We got him! We got him, boys. Yeah, clip it, ship it, send it to the Warden loyalist page. He's ours now, fuckers. He's ours. Oh,
I'd be happy to have him, man.
I would too. He's a fucking logic freak. Point being, I'm really excited to see where the game goes. I'm not giving up on it. I would love to get that sweet, succulent Logi Ripper 3000 going in the air.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not hopping in until Half Tracks Tech. I don't like playing that shit until Half Tracks Tech, but yeah, dude. I'm excited to see where the game goes, and we'll just see. I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, chat about, or what do you guys think?
You know, I was gonna ask earlier. It's not game related, but what did you eat?
Oh,
You look like
tacos.
you're going to town.
Tacos.
Yeah, tacos. Oh fuck yeah, Taco Tuesday. Let's go.
Oh yeah, we have Taco Tuesday. I was
It
really
is Taco
hungry.
Tuesday.
I got a like a homemade lasagna. I'm about to tear into. It's gonna be good.
Nice.
Nice.
I just didn't want cold tacos, and she already brought them to me ready. I usually don't like eating on the podcast, but it's also dinner time, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, if it matters, we couldn't really like hear anything. It was just
Oh, that's good.
you did a good job.
What about you, Graf? Is there anything else you want to say? You want to talk about?
I'm thinking about it right now, but not really. I think I would wish there would be more balance in those balance wars.
So
I don't even care if it's busted, but in either side, just if you think it's necessary to try it out, go for it, and we see where it ends up. Is my guts feeling right now. Not sure.
What if one war they swap the sides? Where actually
North,
we're
south,
I
like for the
think
north v
North,
south.
side switching would be cool. I'm a bit scared. It's the same with the you log into the colonial side, but it turns out you have warden equipment. I just
Oh, wow.
fear that whatever comes out of that war, it will be this eternal. Haha, we told you so, right? It's this. Because you won with our gear, now we will forever have the longer stick, right? And if wardens, what happens if? I think it's a good idea. I like the idea of it, right? The same reason I would like more dynamic war start ideas in general.
Yes.
I think they
Absolutely.
could do way more with wars. I also think that I think they could also just do some weird kind of team deathmatch in the resistance phase. I think we should
Yes.
have dead harvests once per year. I think we should have relic wars every so often.
Yes. That's what I'm
There's
talking
so-
about. They need to add some more
there's so much
variety, man.
Yes, they need
Where's
to add
Dead
more variety.
Harvest,
Yes,
bro? Where's the Dead Harvest, man?
That would be
it's
so
been
fun.
gone
Like a
years
Halloween-
before I started playing. So
I know, dude. I never got to experience it, dude. I
That would
wish
be
I
so
could've.
fun. Like I see the old videos of like the mechs running around. It just looks so sick.
But like,
I
there's
would
so
have
much
loved to have
stuff
played it.
that they could do. Like, they could alter tech trees. They could save for one war, and that's probably not a healthy approach because you have players that do nothing else. But you could be like, yeah, this war, all you will get is, I don't know, light tanks or something, or like only tankettes and the scout tank.
You
of
can
the
only
Wardens
build
and the
tier
World War I
2
lab,
Tier 2 and light
And you can
tanks
only
is the
build-
max tech, you know?
and only 120s. The idea is nice, but I think it's not good for because you would like.
You
would
could
go
do
for
that
like
on
a
game
minimum-
Charlie.
specifically for things.
You could literally have that on Bravo or Charlie server 24/7, and then
You
you
could.
could have main war going all the time on. So you could do like an almost quick match or quick war situation on Charlie to keep the player base always rolling and heavy, and then like the main wars, you know, you could actually take big breaks and major challenge or major balance changes like in between during like let's say almost a week off and then an actual conquest, and you'd like really hope that to last a month, you know, or not a month, like 90 days or whatever, a real conquest again. And then you take a week off, like a week where the able server's down and it's all just review, balancing, and reworking, rechanging. Like, can you guys imagine if the next update was like they just fuck us up in a brand new map? Nothing is the same anymore, dude. Can you imagine the spark
I
that would
can't.
bring, dude?
That would be exciting.
Yeah.
That would be really exciting.
It would be
dude.
exciting, but I thought it so hard that it's hard to even envision it.
Like, dude, it would be
I would love it,
so cool if we came into a new map, bro. Like, honestly, dude, if they wanted to, like, clear, psh, revive the fucking game, you bring a new map, dude, all 54 new hexes. Oh my god, dude, can you imagine?
I also think, largely speaking, on that note, that the issue that this game has right now, it's not that people don't play it just because tank balance is the way it is right now. I think that a lot of stuff plays into it, and I think there's just overall player frustration all over the place. I think that basically more or less every gameplay cycle right now has fundamental issues that they for some reason do not tackle, not address, or anything. And I think it just
Acknowledge.
creates
I think
more
that's the biggest one.
acknowledge is the word I'm
Acknowledgement.
looking for. Acknowledgement and promise that they will work on them. And even when they do that, for example, with the building rework, I don't know if they ever approached a lot of builders about anything. And then it's the issue, right? Like they don't have the intel on how you could do it. I don't know. Like there's just a lot of vet burnout that I see on the part of Foxhole that I see. A lot of vets are quitting right now. Not eternally. Like the majority of them stays connected to what is happening. But a lot of them are quitting for multiple reasons. It's not just one thing.
Well, there's other games
And-
too. Like, why would I play this over like another game with my friends? You know what I mean? Like, that's a real thing. There are other attractive games coming out that
Yeah.
people want to play. Like, there's a lot. And what draws people into Foxhole is the game that it is. But when every single step of the game is making you frustrated and not want to play,
No.
why would I not just go play another game?
Yes, but that's partially what I'm going for as well, right? That's
Mhm.
just
I'm
on a
agreeing
lot
with
of
you.
on a lot of steps. It's just not fun right now for multiple of reasons, and people just decide to quit the game, and they still stay connected with the people they played with. That's at least my experience. They just they're just not happy with the state of Foxhole as a whole, not just like faction specific. Like the majority of builders I know don't want to build. It has nothing to do with Lunaire or Cutler or anything. They just think that building in a whole is not satisfying right now and not worth the effort. And that's the one thing they play Foxhole for. It's not enjoyable anymore to the slightest, and they just quit. Right?
Well, let me ask you the
And-
caveat
yeah.
to this, though. Because you talked about
Yeah.
building a few times.
Yes.
Would you rather keep the breaching mechanic or go back to where 10 ballista rushes wouldn't even kill a concrete wall?
I think, personally speaking, as someone who knew how these archaic building mechanics worked, so I have a lot of biases in this opinion, but from my biased opinion, I would prefer how the building was previously. But because that was like, even if I lose the war, I have my fortress that I can defend for, that I can fight for, and killing concrete felt better, defending concrete felt better, building concrete felt better. It was like, I'm really building a fortress, if I'm knowing what I'm doing. Dogshit concrete is still dogshit, it's just that the skill expression is just gone. So, yeah.
I think
If
there
that's the
needs
only
to
options
be...
I have, right?
I
If
think,
this is the only
yeah, I was
option
going to
I'm
say,
having.
I really hope they would make a mix. Because I
Yes.
am one person,
I
am
think
on the
breaching is
opposite
fine.
side of the ball. I did not
I-
like rushing the same piece of concrete, like, day in and day out, where I literally, it didn't matter what we did, like, even
I'm
with
with you.
Railstorm cannons, I fucking hated, like, concrete just never dying. But also, here's the other caveat to that. There are so many things that have been added since that point in time. Like, I can't imagine fighters in that mix. I can't imagine, like, bombers. I can't imagine a bomber hitting those concrete pieces. Like 4 or 5 bombers with consistent arty going and like everything in the mix. I just can't imagine what that would look like as the defender. But like, it's just so, I do not miss pounding my head into a concrete wall over and 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 over again, and
The thing
nothing
is,
ever changed.
I think breaching can exist, but I don't think, first of all, the concrete should be wet afterwards. And I don't think it should disable the garrison. I think it should open it up for infantry to push in from the front and kill repairmen. so that if the piece is under siege, you can kill it. But I don't think low pop PvE should be rewarded by permanently crippling concrete.
I also
It's
agree
just-
with that. I think Havocs are also like one of the most untalked about bullshit mechanics in the game. That at midnight you can have 3 people, 1 with a machine gun and 2 with a Havoc, break a piece a day before a massive siege happens, and then they just pick on that piece that was wet and it's over.
Yeah.
Like, and that also ruins the siege aspect of it. Like, also talking about like insta breach mechanics, like those are very cheap and kill a possibly week-long battle into, well, that's dead.
we all
We can
agree,
just cheese
right?
that. We can just cheese that
A lot of
piece. It's
pieces-
over.
And a lot of pieces just die as soon as you have one garrison gone, right?
It's
Then
it's over
that's what-
because either infantry can rush in uncontested or tanks
Okay.
can PvE it for free.
Yeah.
And it makes it very weird, and I kind of like the idea of, like, can you imagine this? Let's say you have the Colonial 250 Fury round, and it hits the front side of the concrete, and it opens up a man-sized jumpable hole you could jump through.
Yeah, would be fine because the piece is under siege, and now you open it up for infantry, and now infantry can pour in. And
I
try
think there
to
should
get
be
to
a way
overwhelm.
you can disable garrisons with like heavy munitions. So talking about like 250 rounds and 250 Furies. I don't know what the Warden ones with the Jester's called.
Shatter missile. I
Shatter
think, or
missiles.
something.
I think there should be a way to like disable a turret. You know.
But you don't think that the concrete should be wet, right?
No, I think I really think it's wild that it goes straight, like there's nothing we can do after the fact that it's dead. It's literally just an open hole or tier 2. Like there's no, it's just a broken piece of concrete. It's not defending anymore, but it's still a piece of concrete that you can't just go through. You know, like that's
I would make the argument if flamethrowers would not exist in this game, you are better off building tier 2 than tier 3. Because at least you can replace your losses. Like there's some strongholds where you like the concrete, but replacing concrete right now is so painful considering how hard it is to build. Like it's like you need the tech time. The concrete itself is super resource intensive and time intensive. It needs to cure for a lot of time. I don't know. Like, I don't see where it's worth it right now. And, yeah. Very questionable game design. And I also think they did this without consulting the community as a whole. I think this is like,
They
for
do a
example,
lot of
one of
that. They kind of
No,
just
they
launch
don't.
stuff off
Yeah.
into the dark, and that's it.
Yeah. I think they would also be I think they would do themselves a favor if they're not quite sure what to go for or something, that they just make a community poll or something, like what aspect of the game you want to see touched next or something like that. Maybe that's good
oh my
from
god,
side.
imagine
But,
community polls. Fuck.
Communication? What?
Fuck. Imagine a community manager coming and asking what we want. Fuck. God damn
Like,
it.
have you guys played old school RuneScape at all? Like, you know how they have the polls, right? Like, put a poll station at the fucking home island, and like you see it, and you can kind of vote on stuff that you think sounds interesting.
Or do
I
what
just see it with a
fucking
lot of indie
Tarkov
games,
does.
right?
Fucking Tarkov does it better, where they literally have in one of the, like when you escape, there's a fucking what is it called? Not a questionnaire, but like a what's it called? Like when you take a bunch of people's votes of like you ask people questions and they all fill out their answers on A, B, C, D, like very liked,
Like feedback,
neutral,
like, or what?
kind of like a feedback. I'm trying to think of
Like
a survey.
survey?
Surveys. Yes. Imagine if they had surveys when you opened up your account and you hopped in, and at the home island there was a little what is it? Like a little mail
Survey.
Desk or
station,
something.
like a little
Yeah,
mail
like a
station, like a post office, and you could go write your survey to the devs. Imagine.
Well,
I think that would be a cool idea. Probably not too hard to implement too.
I mean, they can also every so often like Helldivers does it on their official Discord, right?
Yep. That's the other one I
Now
was going
we're
to bring
open
up.
for surveys. Like now we are open for surveys. You want to maybe take a look into it and so on, right? Yeah.
It's
I
not
also
the
think
vision,
we
though,
have.
gentlemen. You know.
I also
why
think we
leave it
haven't
up to
heard
us?
from the devs since Airborne trailer, right?
We've been hearing from them a little bit more. You know.
Yeah, but
We
not
get
in video form, I think, right? They
Oh, in
haven't
video
said
form? I
anything.
mean, I don't care if it's video form or whatever, as long as we're hearing from them, you know? I don't need to see
Yeah,
their
fair
fucking
enough.
face.
Fair
You know,
enough.
I prefer not
Veiny,
to.
I can't fucking read. I need the video, man.
Oh, you can read just fine, brother. I've seen you in high gear, all right?
That's true, it's true. No, I think surveys would be, I think surveys or like a poll system just to get community feedback. And obviously that can be skewed. But if there's like an overwhelmingly amount, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let's, you know, even if there was 100 alts, if there was 2 people that voted no on this, okay, let's pass this through, boy. You know what I mean? Like, obviously that can be skewed, but at the same time, you just take a percentage off for that, and there you go, you know? But yeah, dude, I would love that so much for Foxhole, man. I really would. I think it would I would think it would help the game so much. Oh, such high
cool idea.
hopes. Such high
Hey,
hopes.
hopefully they're listening, you know? It's not that hard of a thing to put in the game.
They do say they listen to this podcast. At
Like,
least
the
they've
community
listened to a
wants
few.
to talk to the devs, right? They want to work with them. You know, we're not unreasonable, I don't think. Some of us are, of course. You'll find more of those people on the Foxhole Discord and Reddit, but, like, generally, I think if you're just to talk to people around the game, they're pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Generally.
I think everyone just wants to have a good-ass fight, dude. Everyone wants to be in a high-stakes fucking fight over a town hall or something. You know, win, lose, or draw. I think the fun of the game is the good fight, not winning and losing. I've had more fun losing games than winning. Like, honestly, when you start steamrolling, shit actually gets pretty boring. But the actual fight,
Well,
that's the gabagool. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, you don't play the game for the last 10 days of the war, right? You play it for the days until you reach the last 10 days. basically,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. You
I agree.
you
And I think
fight
also,
for that.
you always, and that's like with the building update, like where it ties into a bit, you need to make sure that also losing makes fun, or is fun, right? You don't want this game to be all about steamrolls, and whoever gets the first motion wins, right?
So, you ready for another hot take? And this is what we'll end on here. We're pulling on 2 hours. This is the greatest hot take I've had in a while. I think the farther... Okay, there's 2 ways of doing this, 2 thought processes. So this actually is a Kali problem, and I think Wardens would even agree with it. And maybe it's even a part of the Warden's plan. I'm not sure. But Colonials generally take ground early, right? We take a lot more ground early. That's a lot more M-subs and burnout early.
Yes.
I think that should not... I think the team that is pushing and the team that is advancing should get discounts for it.
Like more towards the middle of the map, what? Like
More like
territory.
no,
Like enemy territory. Like you get.
Yeah, I don't know how they want to implement it, but all I'm saying is a lot of burnout comes from success. And a lot of the times, if Collies don't push deep enough early, we're fucked. That's a part of our, like, culture and strategy. It always is. If we don't push deep enough early, like, we get fucking fried. I really think there should be a discount or at least a reward for winning other than paying more M-subs and keeping more shit built up. Because although you want to call it quote-unquote a strategy, it's not something you're doing by losing ground. You're not actively doing the Russian tactic of burn fucking fields. You know, you're not burning all the crops and pissing in the water and shitting in the water. You're not doing that by losing. You're losing players from having success. And I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a good thing for winning. You have to pay more M-subs. Now, I'm not saying that you should just, the farther you push in, the less you have to pay, because, like, that's not either. But like, you get what I'm kind of saying? Like, you kind of get the idea I'm kind of itching at here. Like, I just don't feel like that's good. The more you push in, the more you have to pay. Because you're already spending more. It's a known fact. When you're pushing, you're spending more. No matter what. Wardens or collies. If you're pushing, you're spending more shirts. You're spending more arty. You're spending more everything. Across the board, you are spending more fighting forward than defending. Always.
I mean, it's a long-ass supply line from the back once you're way up there.
I just think there should be something implemented, like, maybe even it would help the defenders, but, like, maybe concrete, you know, for the first week, it cost full cost, but after, you know, 1 week, it goes down 10%. Week 2, 25%. Week 3, at that point, it's gonna fucking stay. They've paid the taxes on it. Why are we charging people to hold a fucking base 90,000 M subs a day? Mm-hmm. You know what? You kind of get what I'm saying. Like, I'm not sure how to do it. I'm not.
I think it's a cool idea. But
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I get you. What I'm saying.
You have to balance it in a sense that the winning side doesn't just turn into an unstoppable force because of these advantages. It has to be to where it's.
Well, I think it should go for the defender too. I think like I don't think the farther you push, like I think, like I said, I think concrete. The longer it sits there, the cheaper the M sub should be. I think also.
Didn't it used to do that? Like, or not cheaper, but concrete. Like, I forget, a long time ago, there was something similar, wasn't it? I wasn't much of a builder back in the day, but I remember people talking about something like that. Like, concrete was like way cheaper than the rest of the shit. Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's just the drying time. That's just the drying time, like, because you reset the timer on it, right?
All right. It might have just been a case of the person that was talking to me didn't know what they were talking about, because I was brand new and they were like, "Oh yeah, once you concrete stuff, it's like half as expensive to maintain." So that could be just not true, but I remember hearing that. That was a long time ago. That was like 2020.
I know they need M subs in the game, because if they didn't, then like every square inch of the map would just be built in and it would be horrible. But at the other half, stop taxing your fucking players for playing your game. Like, I'm okay with fake upkeep, but like there's some people that spend 6 hours of their real life doing M subs on some of these bases. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, to be honest, M subs are at the point in my eyes of like fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I think up there with like the queue issues and stuff like that, M subs are some of the worst things in the game. But, you know, like you said, it's about balance. If there was nothing, then there would just be shit everywhere.
It's just something that's very tough, man. It's just something they can play around with. Maybe the farther you push in, like the more VPs you have, maybe it's an overall percentage that your faction gets for M subs to go down. Maybe it, you know, if you own 2/3 of the map, maybe your M subs go down 30%, you know, or something.
30, big number.
Or just anything, bro. I don't know.
Anything.
Make it.
Yeah.
Throw those fucking guys a bone, dude. Because M subs are, in a lot of people's eyes, some of the. I guarantee you, M subs have killed more players than the balance changes. I would easily say that.
To a certain degree, they are needed though, because servers can't cope with too much building.
It's got to be a fine balance, but that's what I'm trying to say. It should be a percentage based off success, and maybe if you are getting pushed, maybe that number even goes higher. Maybe if you're down to 1/3 of your VPs, maybe you get 75%. That's more for the defense, you know? You get less time worrying about M subs and more fighting, you know? And the attacker gets bonus as well. You know, you get, if you own 2/3, you get, you know, 50 or what. I'm not saying the exact numbers. I'm trying to spitball the idea. I'm not trying to spit the numbers, but I think that should be added. I really do. I think it would incentivize pushing to, you know, achieve that A, just to win the war, but B, it would also be a side goal of, oh my god, if we get this last VP, we all get, we get 30 more, we get 30 fucking % off, boys. Fight for your facility men. Fight for the base builders, It could be I don't know, just a little something, a little something on the side.
Shake it up a little bit, at least. I think it would be interesting just to add a new mechanic like that.
And as
we need to reward like builders and stuff a little bit more. I think they don't get a lot of love in the game, do they?
They're in their bomb shelter right now.
They really don't.
They're in their 1x1 concrete with no way out. They've been there for a while.
The builders and the fact people, they need some love. It's been a long time coming. The game doesn't really respect their time as much as it should. Not even close.
Nah, it's pretty bad. And I don't know. I actually really like this episode, this podcast. I thought we talked about a lot of hard hitting shit. And man, I really appreciate you guys coming on here and giving me some of your time and the viewers your time. And if you guys have any questions, post down in the comments. I'll make sure to get those to those guys, and I'll be posting their links and stuff. But yeah,
I had a lot of fun. Thank you. This is my first time on, dude. Thanks for having me. I'd love to do it again.
For sure, brother. And Graf, thank you always for coming in, dude. I appreciate both you guys, and I think that's where we'll end it there, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks again, man.
Peace. All right.